Okay, now we wait and see if we're live. Are we live? Is it gonna stay up now? It's been an amount of time since the YouTube since YouTube self imploded there for a couple of hours, so I think we're good now. Unfortunately, this is just a BananaCast. There's no one else here. It has been unfortunate timing, just the last couple of months with James finishing university and some other stuff. I am continuing to work as hard as I can to talk to the other guys about hopefully we can get a good anniversary cast next weekend after. I don't know. I'd love more than anything to have all four of us. So that's just hoping that happens. But in the meantime, we did tentatively plan the schedule to do something. So I'm like, I was already kind of in the mind space of wanting to do it. So here we go. It's a pretty good time. Everyone in America and also in Europe should still be up and about. Europe, you guys can listen to this as a nice evening show. And everyone in America, whatever you're doing on your Saturday, if you're driving around or whatever. Hello chat. I'm seeing everyone show up. So I also didn't want the time to lapse, really, if we had to postpone until next weekend or the weekend after, because we had a busy week, didn't we? Woo! Fallout Day. Boy, what a bunch of fun that was. I know, aside from all of our stuff, obviously, that we'll talk about, the 76 beta started going out, and I kind of broke down and I ended up watching some Fallout 76 videos too, because I was curious. I wanted to see what to expect. I don't like going into things completely blind per se. And yeah, it's interesting to see that the game is going to be at least this is according to Oxhorn, so I don't know what the chain of sources is, but apparently there is a way to play the game completely solo. So that's good news as far as I'm concerned, because the hardest thing with online gaming is you can never find a good time. This is a meta narrative, by the way. You can never find a good time that you can all be online at the same time, so it can be hard to get groups together to do raids and such. Oh, fuck. Yeah, so anyway, hopefully everyone's had a good week. I know I always love Fallout Day just for the memories, the anniversary. It's been great. I'm hoping people enjoyed the song too. I know it was generally positive comments. I think sort of the same as last year, because both songs were very it's about specifically our lore. It's specifically Confessions related and Terminal Secrets related. And in both cases, they're for things that hadn't released yet. Of course, Terminal Secrets, this one will be coming out much sooner than Confessions ended up taking. But, I get why they'll never be as popular as, Dashite Song or Fallout, Get Happy, so. And Set Me Free, of course. That was really nice, but that was the one I had the least to do with. Hello, Night Shadow Studios in the chat. Yeah, I was thinking about that myself, actually. If I were to still pick a favorite among all those songs. You see, for me personally, aside from the nature of Get Happy and Dashite Song, both of those were like slow boils. I had those like sort of ideas a long time in production before we ended up actually releasing them. Like, so just give the quick rundown with Get Happy. I guess not as long, but Get Happy was something I'd come up with around the same time as Nuclear Winter Wonderland in concept. It's just, one of those songs where I think, that might be cool to do something with. Because, see, I was always a big House MD fan, but I never actually got to finish House MD when it was on the air. And so then when they started dropping on Netflix or Hulu, I believe, one of the two, I was like, oh, shoot, I could go and finish the series, see how it ends. And Season 8 was sad for a lot of things. I missed that they Lisa Edelstein left. I know there was some behind the scenes production problems with her. She played the Cuddy? Oh God, no! I know I'm forgetting the character name. The hospital, admin lady, the House's main foil. For whatever reason, she had to leave the show before the last season. Some kind of interpersonal conflict, I think. So the 8th season felt a little bit weird because of that, but otherwise it was pretty good. Oh, we have Vermont in the chat. Okay, let me pull up Skype. What? No, don't update Skype. Okay, James, I'm opening it up. Oh my God, that's probably been super fucking loud for everyone. Let me turn down that volume. Okay, good. The desktop audio was already down. Okay. James wants on. We'll see how this works out. Oh my God, it's so loud. Actually, that's my headset volume. That's why that's so loud. Hello? Yeah. That was...
Shut up, Ben. No one's talking to you.
Oh, Ben! That's a little less seen character.
Your face is a butt face.
Well, shut up.
You shut up.
Usually when James brings on family, it's his adorable little sister for cute points.
Yep. Already gets all the cute points. In fact, I think she managed to once earn us like 15 maple bucks or something.
Oh my God, I can't believe you still use the damn needle picture for your profile picture. It confuses me every single time.
That's kind of the point.
Oh my God.
Do you remember back when we first started EAST Corp? I think for like 3 or 4 days, I did a 1-to-1 recreation of your account.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that. Yeah, that was like a few days too.
That was a few days. I used I used everything identically, the avatar picture, your quote, your everything. The only reason that people could tell that it was different was that when I was posting as you, I found a way to mention I'm an engineer in every single statement.
That's right.
Every post I made.
It was like that one Facebook video by the Russian guy that, oh, trust me, I'm an engineer. Yeah.
It's exactly that, yeah.
So, for whatever amount of time you can stay, what was your quick rundown of our Fallout Day shenanigans? Are you excited for the Terminal Secrets teaser? I think even though it came out before, it's a nice, vague tease.
Well, I mean, it's vague enough that no one in the comments section has actually noticed that it's a Terminal Secrets song. Despite the fact that it quite literally quotes, well, it paraphrase quotes the title of episode 6, "Kill the World."
Yeah.
No one in the chat was like, this is Terminal Secrets.
It is pretty funny. I even put it explicitly in the description, but not too many people read descriptions.
Yeah, who reads descriptions? What world do you live in? This mystery fantasy land.
I was actually not sure if this would come out first or if the episode would.
Yeah, the episode, yeah. The episode was kind of up in the air because we had multiple voice artists dropping out at the 11th hour, and I Am Shadow had to fill in for I think she filled in for 2 of them. We ended up casting a couple of new actors into those roles as well. It was actually really beneficial where we had one actor who we hadn't worked with since Tindament, I think, came on, was like, hey, no, it was Hunger. And this guy comes back, he's like, hey, I still exist. Do you have any roles for me? And Kelly's like, I'm not sure. And I'm like, wait, yes, we have a role for you. Don't go away. We have this one character, he has like 6 lines, but we absolutely need him.
So, yeah, I know. And for Shadow, I was very, I did my best to push her, but I didn't because it was a fill-in role, I was like, I can't push too hard, you know.
Yeah.
So.
No, she did great. So eventually we managed to get all the audio in, and Kelly was just assembling things as it goes. At the moment, there's still one piece of audio that's still outstanding, and Kelly's still was busy working on getting that. In fact, he sent me a copy of a test copy of most of the episode finished. Well, if I say there's a lot of the effects have been layered in, certain elements. That's sort of the other major thing where we didn't realize sort of at the time just how intricate the episode was going to be. Like, we knew it was going to be big. The script size, you've seen this, the script is much longer than anything we've done for Terminal Secrets before, but also just everything else we do for the episode is bigger than everything else we've done in Terminal Secrets. Yeah, Kelly's sort of he's done a miracle job so far.
Luckily, I have a bunch
I still remember doing the read-through of the script, and I thought that was endlessly fun, and that's really where all the raw material was put together for the song. So
yeah, and I am actually able to say this now because for the longest time we did not know if we were going to be able to have this. But speaking of music, our musicians have been working really, really hard because Terminal Secrets Episode 6 features an actual fuck ton of completely original music. I think that was like somewhere toward... I think Awake was still in production when I went to Kelly and I said, hey, how would you feel about this? How would you feel if we I'm going to send you the script as it's completed for episode 6. Can you guys compose some stuff for it? Specific to each moment in the script. What do you think? Let's create some motifs. And Kelly jumps at the opportunity. He's like, yes, please. Give me something more challenging, because I'm Kelly.
He really does just run with whatever concepts you shoot him. Like, I was still surprised by how dense the all of these soundscaping was for the live song.
Oh my god! Right.
So it's you can't go wrong with Kelly. He's our little he's the magic.
I'm busy killing zombies.
It is, yeah. Kelly has, in general, it's one of those things that I think we've been really, really fortunate at, and also really good at in terms of our own vigilance.
Yes,
is we've been able to pull together a very strong team.
No, I agree. I mean, we lucked out right away as soon as you messaged me and we're like, all right, fuck Stable Tech. It was like, we immediately got on, okay, who can we bring with us? Who's valuable that we can bring of real value that would actually contribute?
Kelly was the first person we grabbed.
Yeah, of course. We were just flying high after Verismo and the podcast, and we're like, we gotta keep this guy. And he was already redoing, what was it? Well, he did episode 2 for Terminal Secrets audio, and was redoing 1 at the time.
Yeah, he was redoing. That's because episode 1 is one of those really, really interesting Kelly feats, because I had lost, I still to this day can't find all the original voice pieces for the episode and the original project file, because the original plan was I was going to give Kelly all those original pieces and he was going to reconstruct the episode from scratch. And I lost all of that. So for the remaster, all Kelly had to work with was the final piece.
Wow, I actually didn't know that.
Yeah, and he somehow managed to get all the levels right, despite the fact that, lower one thing, you're lowering everything. No, he managed to get that to work beautifully. When you listen to Dose now, it plays out really, really well.
he is just a wizard with it. I don't know how he does it either, honestly. I don't know if it's software or it's just the magic touch. He's in the Beatles like Apple Studio or whatever.
Indeed. I really miss being able to do these podcasts. I should not be here, but I'm here anyway.
Yeah, we're glad for the temporary. Anyway, it's yeah, no. Hopefully, everyone's schedule will level out a bit more, and I know Needle's been a lot busy too, and eventually we'll be able to drag Kelly on as well. Hopefully, we'll have another holiday Founders cast. I was re-listening to that recently, and I was like, it was so fun. Just all of us were able to get together, a nice little sit down. So,
I mean, I'm only going to really be buried in work for the next 4 weeks. 4 weeks, and then 4 weeks, and then that's it. I would have completed all the various, assignments and requirements and films and whatever in order to get my fucking degree.
Fantastic.
I still have to do a year of postgrad next year, but for now, 4 more weeks. I just need to make 4 more weeks.
No, my schedule also actually frees up a bit in December, because November I have 2 work trips, and then mid-November we got like family birthdays and things, so it's that's going to be a lot busier for me as well. But also I'm putting the finishing touches on a completely non-EAST Corp related thing that I've been working on with someone, so that's going to be exciting.
Scrabbles doing solo stuff.
Oh yes.
That's always really funny when you think, it's like, whenever I think of bands going solo, like band members going solo, it always feels like, isn't that an awkward conversation to have with your band? And here at EAST Corp, it's kind of like, yeah, no, here's all the shit I'm doing for myself. Everyone's like, oh, okay, cool. It's going to be exciting.
Yeah, it is an interesting venture altogether. We really just, like, it's an open forum. Like, obviously, we all have a lot of combined projects as well, but the whole concept with EAST Corp was we were so sick of damn Sabletech just, like, vetoing everything we wanted to do in one way or another. And so the whole premise is, that us as the main core creators, we can do whatever we want for the channel.
Exactly. There's we have sort of a core set of rules in place. We never sat down and discussed these are the rules that we have in place, but we've worked with each other long enough now that we know more or less where the things are, like what we can and can't do when we're making content for the channel, or what to. But other than that, there is mostly sort of like, okay, you do your thing. You want to do this thing for the chat? Vermont, do you want to try making another new series for the 15th fucking time? I've been looking over all of the various times I've tried, because I really, really like to experiment and try new things. The Rose Garden is probably the most recent example of a Vermont failure. In that I actually had all the episodes done, ready, edited, good to upload, but the problem there was that no one understood what the fuck the story was.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that's the tricky part.
So the idea with that, I mean, because there was a Terminal Secrets promo, and it was meant to be, the whole thing was done was inspired a lot by the structure of PT, where each episode was a new loop, and it's telling the same story every single time, with slight differences, and the real story is hidden in the differences. The problem is that if you go look at the comments section of the various Rose Garden things, it's usually, but you're just telling the same story every single time.
Oh.
And eventually it's like, okay, no, never mind, fuck it. I have so much other work to do. I'll revisit this at a later point and just release every single episode at once in one big collection video, and that's it.
Yeah, it's one of those put it back on the burner.
Yeah.
While we have you here, thoughts on Fallout 76? We've seen a little bit more with beta, extremely beta.
Oh, Fallout 76. I had a minor rant about it. I had a minor rant about it on the Discord server.
Oh, I did see part of
that. Yeah. Okay, so thoughts on Fallout 76. Well, the primary things that I've seen from a lot of people who've discussed the beta and have been reviewing it is that the world is bland, the story is bland, the characters have no personality, and there are no NPCs. But apparently the gameplay loop shows promise and is really good. Here's the thing, though. No one, fucking no one, not even in the isometric days of Fallout, no one plays Fallout for the gameplay.
What's wrong?
That's because Fallout's gameplay has always been really clunky, and it's always been more of a... With Fallout, you're always fighting the game rather than enjoying the game. It succeeds in spite of its gameplay. And because, you play Fallout and you Fallout for for the fact that it is one of the most endearing, aesthetic, character-filled brands and IPs that exists out there. And Bethesda's like, okay, cool. We're just going to forget all that part. We're making Destiny. Seriously, everything I've seen in the gameplay and with a lot of the way people describe the game, it looks like Destiny, but much worse.
Oh, God. That's a bad sign.
God, I'm not someone who harps on graphics and visual fidelity, but fuck me, the graphics are a downgrade from Fallout 4. But for some reason, it requires a really, really strong rig to run Fallout 76, which, I mean, it requires a stronger, like, for example, my rig is below the recommended specs, but I can still run Doom 2016 and Nier Automata on mostly full graphics at around 45 frames per second. Because those games are really, really fucking well optimized, and they have much better graphics than 76. But 76 is fucking Creation Engine.
Yeah, it's definitely something that, like, they're gonna have to rebuild eventually, and hopefully they're doing that for whatever the next Fallout game is. Like, maybe here's the best case scenario: they are building a brand new engine for Starfield, which then they'll port over for Fallout 5, and then the Elder Scrolls on or whatever.
That was what I thought. That was kind of what I expected, because that was why Starfield and Starfield and Fallout, and the Elder Scrolls 6 were taking so long. Was okay, cool. They were actually building a new engine. So one of the patrons in the Patreon chat said that they had apparently confirmed that they were still using their regular engine, though. And that sounds like a very Bethesda move.
It's sort of like how, Windows is still ultimately built on top of freaking DOS. But Windows doesn't die to the extreme that Windows doesn't have the same amount of competitors that game engines do. True, yeah.
Like, I mean, it's not even like Bethesda, because Bethesda Game Studios has been living on that specific engine, but it's not even like Bethesda Softworks and ZeniMax as a publisher haven't gone out and built brand new engines from scratch before. I mean, they went and built a new one. They built the Void engine for Dishonored 2. And I mean, they own id Tech. They own id, who are some of the best engine builders in the industry. And I'm not saying this as I'm not like an expert or anything, but that's kind of a commonly known fact. So if they own them, why not make more use of that, right?
Yeah, they're not optimizing their own resources, pretty much.
Yeah, it's. Why do you do this, Bethesda? Why do you do this to us?
Yeah, see, I knew getting the copy, I was like, yeah, it's gonna be a shot in the dark, no matter what. But I'm tentatively excited just to see, what I can squeeze out of it. It's like getting a small orange, and you're like, there's not a lot of juice in here, but at least, hopefully, it's kind of good. I don't know. It's just new content. I completely replayed through Fallout 3 ever since thinking originally that it was going to be a Fallout 3 remaster. So, yeah, that's I kind of wish it was still. I'm thinking back on that and I'm like, that was my lowest scenario when they first teased, and now I kind of wish that were still the scenario.
I kind of thought that was going to be the scenario because it was also around the 10-year anniversary.
Yeah, in 2 weeks, 10 years.
Yeah.
So.
And because I still felt like, Bethesda doesn't do 2 games from one franchise in a row anymore. They alternate. Elder Scrolls, Fallout, Elder Scrolls, Fallout, Elder Scrolls, Fallout. Apparently not. I think maybe they can now develop 2 games at a time because, if they made so much money from selling Skyrim 1,000 times.
Yeah. Well, and it's like now they've given the order, at the B3, they're like, okay, next is Starfield, and then after that is Elder Scrolls 6, okay? Stop asking us.
Yeah, now they've actually been completely clear. Okay, guys, we're going to give you what you want.
Of course,
probably.
Almost no one except our chat would even care, though, because everyone's playing Horse Testicle Generator, Red Dead Redemption 2.
Man, I really want that game so badly.
See, I never played the first one, so I feel like I do want to try it, but I haven't gotten around to it yet.
See, yeah, I played the first one. I loved the first one. I really, really loved the first one, actually. But I not only do it, even if I had the money to buy it, I don't have time for the next 4 weeks.
True.
But my real biggest problem with it is that I have found no less than 5 spoilers already.
Oh no!
5 major spoilers from what I assume is the end of the game. I can probably construct the 3rd act of the game in my head right now. And it makes narrative sense to me.
Could it be a troll, though? I remember with New Vegas, I accidentally read a meme that said something like, the platinum chips are to control satellites for nuking the wasteland. And it was like a fake spoiler.
I mean, it could be, but I'm not entirely sure. Those plot points seem like the sort of things that would happen, like the kind of things I expected, and that kind of things that Rockstar do.
Okay. I wouldn't know.
I'm not too bummed about it, but it's annoying, It's one of those things like, come on, you dicks.
I'm hearing one of the biggest add-ins to the game is it's very big hunting and wilderness mechanic. They're trying to really make you feel like you're living off the land in the Old West.
I got sued.
I've heard a lot about that as well.
Help. I'll let her so much.
In the end, it does look really, really fun. I'm still excited to play it when I can eventually get to it. As an animator, I was actually discussing this with Cinderscript about an hour ago about how good the animations look, and I'm really, really excited to sort of get in there, watch some gameplay footage, and examine the game animation.
Yeah, it's.
Speaking of animation. I should.
Gotta go.
I'm trying to front load everything that's sort of in my head before I have to go.
Yeah.
So.
Oh, you're so dead, dude.
Ruby.
Oh yeah.
The first episode of season 6 came out 4 hours ago, and holy shit, it was really good.
Damn, I didn't even see that yet.
I've always been kind of an apologist for Ruby. Well, I say always. I mean, when I say always, I mean since season 3, because I still hold that. Yeah, I still hold that seasons 1 and 2 are actually nowhere near as good as people remember, and I actually really want to do a video about it sometime, breaking down season 1 and season 2, why they are not as good as people remember, and why people need, and why it's unhealthy for the future of the show that people keep idealizing them.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna get a ton of hate for it, but it needs to be said. But my point is that this season is shaping up to be really, really good. Even if you don't have a first account, for people who are curious, the new intro is available on the Rooster Teeth YouTube channel, and I'd recommend giving that a look, because it is quite. It gives a lot of ideas of sort of where the plot is going. It's probably one of their most interesting in terms of of how much plot details it gives away. And how much symbolism it uses. I love anime openings because they always do that.
Oh yeah,
they're always they always throw a ton of foreshadowing at you, but they always try to hide it.
Yeah, no, I only got the chance to listen on my phone, but I thought it was neat. I gotta watch it with my big speakers or headphones now.
Oh, yes. But what do you think of the actual song then?
I only heard it the once, and again, it was on my phone, so it didn't leave a massive impression on me yet, but it seems okay. Like, I remember the Season 4 song, I didn't like it, but then I warmed up to it over time, and the Season 5 song, or Volume, sorry, whatever. Volume 5 song was always pretty fine. So this was definitely different, and because of that, I feel like I didn't hear all the highs and lows yet, so it's going to take a few repeat viewings before it grabs me.
Yeah. The Volume 4 song, I actually had the exact same opinion. Like, I started out being like, and then I started to really, really like it. The only thing I don't like is there's this one section where the music gets slightly more chilled, but the guitar breaks out into these weird short solo bursts. They last like 4 seconds, but the lyrics. The vocalist will finish singing and hold the note as it fades away, and as that happens, you get the guitar for like 4 seconds.
Oh yeah.
And that I would have cut that part. It would have been much better without that part. But overall, I mean, Ruby's music and introductions have always been on point.
I think the key is, honestly, it's better in its full form. Just like with almost every Jeff Williams song, when they have to cut it down for like the opening or for an in-series thing, it's just not as good. It definitely feels like he structures them as a whole, and then they just chop them down to size.
Yeah.
So
I really like how, in general, all the songs, the Ruby songs, because it's kind of like I'd say like 30% of Ruby's story can be found in the lyrics of the songs.
Oh yeah.
Which is always which is just a fascinating choice. I think one of the earliest, probably most popular examples was Red Like Roses Part 2, where they where the entire thing is sort of staged as a confrontation between Ruby and her mother about her mother dying and leaving.
That's still one of my all-time favorites.
That is so good.
I hope they bring back what's her name too for more singing bits. Sandra Casey or whatever. She's great.
Yeah, Casey Lee. No. The older singer. Yeah. I really hope so. I really like the music that they've always had for it. And again, I would super duper recommend watching the video version of it, because there are some. This is going to be a really big season. So first, again, I'm not going to go into any spoilers on it, because it's always best to see these things from hand. But firstly, it's 2 minutes long. It's 1 minute 56 seconds long, which is the longest opening that they've ever done. Mm-hmm. So that sort of gives you an idea of just how much content that they've stuck into it, and there again, a lot of it are these hidden plot details that they're trying to. That they're trying to suggest to you, and sort of characters that some of the new characters and old characters, and I'm so excited. I'm so excited for this season.
Oh, the holiday special came out today too. Best gift ever. We'll have to watch that before the big All Four of Us cast.
Oh yes, the Pony Holiday special. Why did that come out now? Was it a leak or?
No. Apparently, it's airing properly.
Wait. So you're saying that My Little Pony managed to air something before the leak version came out?
Yeah, I know. Can you believe that? What a novel concept! God damn it, Hasbro, DHX, whatever.
It's one of the. I'm really concerned for when the. So next season, chances. Oh, that was something I actually wanted to ask. I'll get to that in a second. Next season, probably going to be the final season of the series, as everyone's basically figured out by now. And chances are the writers are aware of this, and the writers have hopefully prepared an awesome series finale in the same vein that Adventure Time got such a big bombastic conclusion. So I really, really hope that they actually manage to keep a tight lid on it for the finale, that we don't get the leaks, because I don't want to watch the leak. I don't like watching the leaked versions. I mean, either way, I have to watch online, but I like watching with the majority of the fan base so that I can get.
Yeah.
So I'm there celebrating with everyone, and you can't have that when shit's getting leaked and you don't know if the rest of the fan base is watching something yet.
I gotta point out, too, American television has a lot of problems, but one thing they're usually better at is they don't have so much shit on the screen. I remember watching the Dutch or Danish version of the Spike's Fake Dad episode, and there's so many damn chyrons and, crap around the corners and the giant-ass Nickelodeon logo. I'm like, what the hell is this? Not even Japanese TV isn't this bad sometimes. It's like, come on, get that shit off the screen.
100%.
I hate that.
Oh, man. So I think this will probably be my finishing point for this podcast. But I asked this to the patrons a while back, and I had a chat with Mohan about it as well. So because we're getting a series finale, let's stick with 3 things. What 3 things would you like to see happen in the finale that to you would be that would make it, that A, would add something to the show that you haven't seen before, or that would raise the stakes in a way that it hasn't done before, or would just make the ending feel more complete?
I know for me, I want a finality for every character. Every character sort of had their own arcs. I want all of them to have a really satisfying conclusion. I guess, sort of like Rainbow Dash is sort of a Wonderbolt, maybe some kind of final, bookend of that. Twilight sort of settled in, her life now is running friendship school and cranking out the Montessoris or whatever. And etc. Rarity, she's got her franchises. They're all doing generally great, but it's I just that feeling of and then this is the rest of their lives. Sort of like the ending of Digimon Adventure 2, where it transitions out and then it gives a quick, before Digimon Tri became a thing, quick cut of where they were, like, years later. And I'd love for that too. Maybe a flash forward like 20 years to show, and then life ended up great, off into the sunset. I don't know.
Yeah.
Show an adult flurry heart for 1 or 2 frames, things like that.
Ooh, that'd be really cool.
Yeah.
That'd be really, really cool. I actually had a list. I technically have 4, but okay. So the first one is more or less in order. I really want a big villain team up.
Oh yes.
All the villains who haven't been beaten yet, and maybe some returning ones. Yeah, I want Cozy Glow back. I definitely want Tyrek back because he was the source of the best finale. I want Chrysalis back. Finding a way to manufacture Sombra's return would be really cool.
Oh hell yeah.
Maybe find a way to throw a version of Daybreaker into the mix. I'm not sure. Something. But like specifically, I really, really want this to be built up across the whole season. In the same way that they did with like season 5, where Starlight escapes and then you see hints of her across the season, but maybe something a little bit more overt rather than just an Easter egg.
Oh, I agree. Yeah.
So a built-up team up across the season. Next, let's say if it's a 40-minute finale, about 30 minutes into the finale, I want to see a moment where the main 6 are completely beaten and everything they've tried has failed, all hope is lost, and they're ready to be defeated together. They're like, fuck it, we're going to die, but we're dying together because we're friends. And then I want everyone that they've made friends with and helped across all 9 seasons, including Sunset Shimmer, including Sunny Buns. I want all of them to arrive and save the day for them.
And Tempest.
Yes, and all the other characters from the movie.
Yes.
You should use those.
So that I really, really want to see that. It sort of, I think it's a nice way of adding scope, scale, and size to the ending. Like, holy shit, this is an ending, and also a nice way of again reinforcing, they were kind to people and they brought friendship to these people, and it's literally saving their life at this point.
Exactly.
Yeah. And okay, this one is nowhere near as large and magnanimous and big as the first 2. I really just want an on-screen Starlight Trixie kiss. Okay,
that would be sweet.
Okay, it is the finale, and Adventure Time gave us the equivalent. I want my lesbian horses, please. It's the last episode of the generation. They can get away with it.
They probably could, yeah.
Like, what's Hasbro gonna do? Cancel them?
They can. It's their most successful property. Even Transformers, Harry carried itself in the movie business. Hopefully Bumblebee can reset it.
Not only is it their most successful property, but it's also, the final episode of the series.
Yeah.
You can't cancel that.
Yeah, no, exactly. So especially these days, we've had 4 or 5 shows with something like this. It's fine. It's fine.
Exactly.
One thing
I really want that.
One thing I'll add to your conclusion is I want it sort of like The Last Airbender, where at the very end, you, instead of the 2 episodes, make it 3, or add one extra episode at the end, because I think book 3 was like 21 episodes, right? The whole Sozin's arc. And add one more, make it a 3-episode arc, and then make it so that the final villain defeat is sort of in the first, maybe 10 minutes of the 3rd episode, and then I want a good 15-minute, off in the sunset scene. Like again, I'll reference, actually, Digimon Adventure 1 did that better, but think of, at the end of Return of the King, or the end of Avatar. They had a good chunk section there of, okay, this is how, all the pieces fell after the defeat of the big final bad.
Yeah, exactly. Because like I've seen people make jokes about and criticize the overly long ending of Return of the King, but fuck you.
Everyone wanted that. Yeah.
I love the 1,000 different endings that Return of the King had, primarily because they had so many characters and so many plot beats to resolve, and they cut so much out of the book's ending, because in the book's ending, after Frodo and the hobbits got to the Shire, there was like another 100 pages of because the Shire got invaded.
Yeah, it was like cleanup work.
And it was like one of the best parts of the story, but they cut it because even Peter Jackson was like, this ending's going on a bit too long.
Yeah.
But again, it's the fucking. So I agree with that. I mean, even Gravity Falls had a third. It had a 3-part. It had a 3-part finale as well. So I think that's actually the direction that the show that they should go in. One other really, really small thing to add on to all of that, at the very end, I really, really, really just want a reverse of the season 1 opener. Like, you know, maybe like just a 2-minute segment where, like not even like a 30-second segment showing the characters in book form or whatever, and then and then showing the book closing to sort of act as a mirror of the first shot of the series, where it was the opening book. Like, that would also just be really, really nice. It's not. It wouldn't be like a thing to make or break it for me. It'd just be a nice touch.
That could be the 20 years later scene of like Twilight closes that, and then she like, you know, Flurry Heart or someone pops in, and she goes outside, and everyone's out there for some other event thing. I don't know. Oh, one more thing I'll mention. I know the specific episode's a point of contention that we won't get into now, but like the end of the season 3 finale, I want this shit to be so music dense that like you're singing the entire fucking 3 episodes. That's what I want.
Oh, I 100% agree on the series finale has to be a musical.
Even more so than the movie. That was the one drawback for the actual Pony movie for me, was they could have had more music. They could have had more, in my opinion.
See, I really liked the music and the idea of doing a musical for the season 3 finale. My problem with the season 3 finale was just the outside of a couple of small things, I didn't like the focus, and I also really didn't like the fact it's a small thing. It's a small thing, but Rarity gets Rainbow Dash's special talent and ends up being a weather pony. That's a real. No.
Yeah, Rainbow Dash isn't good at her job. It's like, that was never her talent.
That's her job. It also would have been so much funnier to see Rarity trying to run laps against Pegasi.
That would be funny.
I got the gear.
That would have been in
like
the same way that
somehow.
Or you know, maybe have a return of Rarity with the butterfly wings. There were funnier ways they could have done that and still kept the and still, you know, stayed true to the established fiction of the story. Outside of that, I actually really liked the season 3 finale.
I don't know, something about it was very, for me personally, I think it's like every single song in it was like, at least for me, like knocked it out of the park. And so I really like chronicled that in my memory. Like a lot of songs throughout the show I completely forget about, like almost instantly. But it's like those big bandy kind of like really ballad kind of numbers. That I love that shit. You know, we go from True True Friend into Celestia Song and back to just a lot of neat stuff. So.
I really, really like a lot of the music from the show. I'm really curious to see about the new series. I was watching the DWK was pointing out in one of his videos, you know, chances are the new series, the new generation of MLP will suck, and which is great because then we can all go back to having to living our lives. But But what happens if the next gen is actually really good, and we're just going to be stuck doing this for the rest of our lives?
It's gonna be interesting. I don't know how they immediately like do another gen anyway, unless they like build it off of this like Korra in a way. So I don't know.
I would love to see them build off of this, but the concept art like shows them reusing certain characters.
It looks that way, yeah.
Which that actually would, I think that's not the direction to go, because people are attached to the current iterations of the characters. So which means that if, like, I know that Applejack is going to be returning, so if they have Applejack return and she acts exactly the same, then we may as well just be watching the current gen with a less developed version of the character. But if they change the character, fans are going to be pissed.
Yeah, and the voices too. You know, they'll probably like with the Powerpuff Girls, they'll get new voices for them all and make them maybe a bit younger. Who knows? I'm really not even thinking about that. It's like I want them to see Gen 4 off into a nice bookend, and then also release a giant box set. Get a giant fucking 4K Blu-ray or normal Blu-ray. Throw every commentary you can, every special feature you can, and sell it to the bronies for $500, and they'll all buy it.
People like that's a solid idea.
Almost make it like a brony targeted item, because like I get the DVDs of the seasons because that's the only real version they come in. But really put this together for the devoted fans, quote unquote, of the series, and just chock it full of all those extras.
That's actually I really think they should do that.
It's easy money, is what I'm saying. Hasbro, if you're listening, Hasbro, I know you just laid off 10% of your employees because Star Wars killed your toy brand. Go ahead and sell My Little Pony DVD Blu-ray Super Set.
Well, that and the lack of Toys R Us.
Well, it sounds like they're trying to reboot Toys R Us now. Did you hear that story?
No.
Yeah, they want to like redo it, but here's the thing: they want to change the name, which is the most valuable part of Toys R Us as a brand. Is the name?
Yeah, it's but that's how branding works.
Yeah, so I have no idea what that guy's thinking, but that's apparently what they're doing. Is they're like hemorrhaging it into some new smaller company.
Please don't lift my face.
I mean, good luck to him, but
yeah. It'll last like 2 years.
Yeah. No thanks.
Yeah, no, I feel like a lot of people really don't understand the value of brands. That's why we get so many remakes, is because brand recognition is one of the most powerful forces in human psyche. The familiar is comfortable. Everyone operates on that basic, like, firmware. And so that's why we're going to keep getting Star Trek and Star Wars and everything else that's already been out there for a while.
Yeah, it's why it's why Hollywood doesn't like taking its chances on a new IP, because it's unless it is from a director or an actor that because that's familiarity.
Well, and I said this about the Pony movie. Hollywood reacts to the bottom line. If you really like something, see it opening weekend, because that's how they register whether or not they make more of it.
Exactly. Like, I was really annoyed at all the fans who, there was the leak, because of course there was a fucking leak, and they leaked the entire movie. And sure, I pirated the movie, but I also watched it on release day. I went and watched the movie on release day because A, I wanted to see the film in theaters, obviously, and B, because they needed the money from every single person. Like, regardless of how little my South African rand actually is worth, go see it. Go see the fucking movie to support it.
Well, yeah, and that's like with anything, too. Then also, when they do release something like a Blu-ray, buy that, too, because that's what's helped Firefly get Serenity, is everyone went out and bought the DVD, series pack after they ended the series.
For execution.
Yep. Just go buy. Go buy all their shit.
That's the vote with your dollar thing. That's what ultimately matters. Now, if they screw up, then we can retaliate or like wait a few weeks and see it later. But it's like, in the general sense, if you want more of something, that's the profit motive. Yeah, you got to work with those. Got to work the levers the way the levers work.
Mm. Yeah, the system. Sometimes the system sucks because you're supporting because sometimes you don't want to support a specific thing. And that's going to suck. I know a lot of people... There's been a lot of talk at the moment because Red Dead Redemption had
it is on sale. Yeah.
A really unreasonable... had a nearly unreasonable crunch.
Oh, I heard about that. Yeah.
Eventually, it was clarified by Dan Houser that the crunch is primarily being undertaken by high-level employees such as himself, but people are still now having the conversation of if a game developer is behaving unethically, what do and sort of over time working its workers, what do the workers want people to do? Which that I thought was a weirdly mature way of discussing it for the game community. Like rather than just immediately boycotting it. Because a lot of the developers were like, if I'd been working my ass off under shitty conditions on a game and people didn't play it, I would feel even worse. And the second one was... bonuses rely on how well the game does.
Oh, yeah. No, I agree that the narrative has to be clear of why a thing didn't do well. Otherwise, then they won't understand. And that's the tricky thing with, like, internet communities and polling and a whole bunch of stuff. Sometimes it's hard to gauge what exactly caused it. Because sometimes, too, it's something very simple, like it came out on the same weekend that something else very popular came out. So, it's like, actually, Batman and Superman had that problem, too, where its original weekend release was the same time as Civil War, and when it both came head-to-head, Batman versus Superman blinked, and they're the ones that pushed it up.
Assassin be Assassin. I look cool.
They serious? Is that when they launched?
Yeah, it was March 30th, I believe, of 2016 when Batman vs Superman came out in America.
Now? Okay.
Who in their right mind did that?
I don't know. They blinked though, and that I'm not too sure how many people realize that the date changed, but it's like that leaves an impression, and then and then it had its own problems. So.
That's really funny.
It's sad, but it's a hazardous industry. Entertainment as an industry is very dynamic and always moving. And then you have things like foreign markets come into play too. Like really, a lot of what killed The Last Jedi in terms of relative to The Force Awakens was the Chinese market. No one in China showed up for The Last Jedi.
You still need to remember.
Which is weird, considering that they usually show the Chinese market usually does really, really well. If you add Chinese characters.
Yeah, that's, and I think that's more so just getting it into the market in the first place, because I know China has, like, a very fixed limit of so many movies from the West can air each year.
They might actually lose this one. They got some good hits, because I didn't expect...
So, yeah, there's always that dynamic.
Though I just want to quickly clarify, I say Chinese. Is Kelly Marie Tran's heritage Chinese?
I have no idea.
Because she was born in California. I'm just double.
I thought she was
she's
Vietnamese
not.
Or something.
She's Vietnamese.
Oh, I got that.
Super duper apologize for that. Holy shit.
It's more Indochina than regular China.
Yeah, okay. Big time apology for that. Though that also does explain why it then didn't do well in China.
Yeah, that's the thing people have to realize too. It's like, just, it doesn't necessarily mean they're going to like the character or the person.
True.
Yeah, so anyway, that's just the point, is a lot of things can kill movies, but if you do generally like something, you gotta put your dollar on the line. See it opening weekend, or buy the Blu-ray when it comes out. That's the same with Game of Thrones. Like, I can never watch it on the air because I'm, HBO subscription, but then as soon as, like, the Blu-ray or whatever comes out, I bought that. So, that's good.
And that also, and I'm going to sound maybe a little whiny or self-absorbed at the moment, but seriously, that also really, really applies to when you're supporting YouTube channels.
Oh, yeah.
Holy shit, it applies. When you guys like a video or comment on it, even if you just leave a comment saying, I liked this video, that tells us a lot.
Oh, yeah.
That really does tell us a lot. I mean, as I demonstrated at the beginning of the series, at the beginning of this video, I dropped an entire series and put it on the back burner because people were telling me they didn't understand it. The comment section does a lot.
I thought you were dead. Sorry.
And it does help us figure out what our audience wants and what you don't want. And it also helps us, it also helps with motivation, when you spend, I mean, what's your average production cycle on Confessions?
Oh, God.
Because it's down to like 1 per year now, isn't it?
Kind of. But we're almost at the end, so it's almost over. I'd say in terms of back-to-back, it's probably 200 hours of episode, because it's like probably 100 hours of writing, and then communicating with the VA, and then editing is usually like 4 times the length of the episode, and then getting the art like planned, produced, and work with them, and then final editing. Yeah, it's probably like 200 hours per episode.
Yeah. Terminal Secrets, we've got a much shorter writing period. It's probably somewhere between 30 and 40. But our post-production process and the directing process is fucking massive, because we have to every time we introduce new characters, which is every episode, we've got to cast for them, and we need to work on the concepts, and we need to and then we need to send it all through to Kelly, who does an ungodly amount of work making the episodes as good as they are. I mean, yeah, we talk about how good Kelly's work is.
I love your blade,
and it shows. So.
Let's do this.
I like all of mine. They all have the same. So this isn't me necessarily trolling for comments. This is just sort of reflecting that same idea that Hollywood looks at the market, what the market likes and doesn't like, and then that's what they decide to keep. That applies to us here at EAST Corp as well.
Oh yeah, no, for me, especially on Confessions, is I thrive off of the positive comments. It's like if you want more of anything from me, it's usually a higher volume of really good response comments like that. And then there's the normal things like views and downloads. I look at the back-end downloads on like Mediafire and Pony FM and things like that. So it's like, we're not asking necessarily for money or anything, but it's like those responses, that's what really drives us into, okay, more of this and less of this.
I don't know if Harry takes stamina.
Yeah, it does become a big thing. It also does help for additional traffic. It does help newcomers who come on and they see the comment and they think, oh, okay, people actually really like this. Psychologically, it works in the same way as seeing a review.
That was a nice. And do you know how Harry?
So it's
very good to know. Oh, did you faint? Did you faint? Do you know how to faint?
Fuck, I can't remember what I was gonna say.
Yeah, so that's just for me. I think all of us. It'll be good too. Like we have stuff that we're obviously coming up to the end for, but it's going to be it's all about
So press
you
E
want
on
the payoff to be big. You want to know that like people responded, like in the Ice Mare, seeing people or at least one or two comments about. Oh yeah, I really liked how horrifying that scene was of Freezy coming out of the tank and all the description of everything. Like that kind of stuff shows that people are really paying attention or they're really like absorbing whatever it is. So that's like more of that. So if you do like a specific kind of scene too or a specific thing, mention that too.
Yeah, if you like a certain character, let us know. After Eternal Secrets episode 4, people had a really, really positive reaction to Dr. Fractal. And so as a result, we were able to, and they said exactly why they liked it. They liked. They said they liked the vocal performance. They said they liked the fact that that the way Kelly edited him makes him feel like the Master from Fallout 1. So in future versions of the series, as we started working on more Dr. Fractal stuff, we kept that in mind. It's like, okay, cool. Here's a section where we can add this to have him do the voice repeating thing to make him feel like the Master. Let's go watch some clips from Fallout 1, do some more research into why that works. The more specific you are, the better we can also then be like, okay, this is what they want.
Yeah, especially then if we do get an inordinate, like, high volume of, like, less than positive comments, then we also react to that too. Whether or not that's, like, natural or intentional or just trolling, it's definitely gonna affect the final outcome of more or less.
Okay, I'm up for one more rematch.
Negative comments do also help with that. They do also steer us in a certain direction. I mean, probably the best example is when I first released Dose. And every single person said the exact same thing. The audio is fucked, so we went and fixed it, and we got Kelly to work on additional episodes, and we made sure that we dedicated extra time to ensuring that the audio wasn't fucked. In a less subtle way, in a more subtle way, there was a really excellent comment, probably one of my favorite comments, that someone wrote like this 2-paragraph analysis comparing episode 1 of Eternal Secrets with episode 2. Pardon?
No, sorry, go ahead.
Sort of explaining why they really liked episode 2. Why they liked episode 2, but why episode 1 was better. And that actually, if you go into the Stable-Tech version of Eternal Secrets episode 2, you should still be able to find it. It's really, really good, but someone putting that much thought into the comment meant that I was able to look and see very clearly what worked, what didn't, and we have yet to have an episode like episode 2 since then. In terms of a lot of episode 2's mistakes, it's definitely the weakest of the series so far. I say so far. I promise episode 6 will be better.
I think episode 6 is the best of the series.
Episode 6 is without a doubt the best of the series. No offense to the other episodes.
It's a good conclusion. I was very impressed when we did the read through.
I would say I'm excited for. I'm
excited for the ending.
I'm excited for the ending, but I'm also like, it's gonna be over.
I know that is hard, but you got a ton of untypical stuff going on. So.
Yeah, that's true. Oh my god, I am just dying under the weight of that. We got the art in. I don't know if you saw. I posted it on the damn. Some of the art we got was really good. Including a piece done by Needle's boyfriend, which would he's managed to get a fair amount of work out of us ever since he started dating her.
Oh my god. I stumbled on his Tumblr recently by accident, and yeah, that's interesting.
I'm gonna tell her you said that.
Yeah, it's just, it's like, oh yeah, I wonder, is there a DeviantArt for this? Reverse image search, one of the things she, like, dropped in our chat. Oh, fuck. Yeah, that was interesting.
Yeah, I've seen some of the stuff I've never been onto his DeviantArt specifically, but I have been onto, occasionally Needle will direct me to something that she posted that he drew into the booty barn.
Oh yeah, that's definitely where it belongs.
That's the one that look at this. Look at this execution.
Oh, why isn't Needle here? This part of the conversation would be so much more hilarious.
Yeah, she's at a wedding while this is going on. That's the funny part.
Oh, is that when Needle is?
Yeah, I don't know. And same thing with Kelly. It's like I told Kelly specifically, I'm like, I'm trying to plan the time for you. Tell me when you're free, god damn it.
Yes, because the last time you tried to plan a podcast with Kelly, you were like, okay, what about this time? And Kelly is a proper he's a proper English gentleman.
What was that?
And he always seems super happy and excited and like chilled about literally everything that you could possibly present to him. So this was the most abrupt message he has ever said to us. I'm not getting up at 3 a.m. Maybe it says something about how polite he is, that's the most aggressive he's ever been, but I could feel the underlying Kelly being like gonna strangle you.
Yeah. So that was the thing.
I don't think it was that it was OP. That was both of our first times.
I like to.
Okay.
If you have to go.
I just another 2 minutes.
So let's see. We talked 76 new episode. I guess you could. Do you have an ETA on Terminal Secrets release? It sounds like by the end of the year, based on what I've heard.
Oh, it'll definitely be the end of the year. I don't necessarily have an ETA, though. I would really like to say the end of November. It all depends. See, the way Kelly's described it to me, and this is pretty congruent with the way the editing process has gone before, is everything on Terminal Secrets always seems really, really big and complicated until sort of there's a moment in production where everything really just snaps into place, and things suddenly just get a lot easier. And we are definitely nearing that point. So at the moment, at the moment the way progress is going, I'd probably say end of November, but it depends where we hit that point. If we hit that point where it's suddenly like, oh, everyone is laser focused, all the pieces are in place, let's get the shit done.
Yeah, that's how it is for most of my stuff, too, is all my production is in, like, bursts, where it's like, there's never, like, 1 hour of writing every night. It's, one night I'll write for, like, 5 straight hours, or do editing for 5 straight hours, and then nothing for a few nights. Everything is, like, it's once you get that creative momentum, then you just, you crank the trolley until you get to the end there.
Exactly, like, it's one of the weirdest, so I wrote about maybe 30 of the pages of Tindament, and the first draft of that, I wrote all 30 pages in an afternoon, which I think is the most writing I've ever done in one day, ever. I'm not... most of what was in those 30 pages, though, was in the final episode. And it's one of the most praised things we've done. So it's really weird to get to that point where it is that snapping into place point of where you hit those bursts of focus of like, hey, I can have a day where I can write 30 killer pages in an afternoon, and then I'll have other days where I will sit and stare at one page, and I'll just be like, they're walking down the fucking street, and they're talking about cotton candy. Why can't I write this? Why can't I make this entertaining?
Yeah, no, it's tricky sometimes. I'm trying to remember my biggest writing session too, and yeah, it really is just about the momentum. It's about if you have like a core like set piece, maybe like you're like, okay, so we arrive at the cafeteria, and then you write the entire everything cafeteria, and then that momentum stops. You're like, okay, I guess that was my writing for the night. Was the cafeteria scene?
One is currently
Hey, at least it's 8 pages. That's good.
I mean, if you get to 8 pages, then it's like, okay, I guess.
What? Oh, I was outside.
Maybe.
That was close.
I think one of the pains of the asses that I sometimes have is so the writing software I use, Celtex, which is it's script writing software, and it doesn't show you your page count unless you go to a certain page, and unless you go to a certain part of the program, it won't show you your page count, and it will only show you. It does have another way of doing it that doesn't involve going to that page, but it's really inaccurate. But anyway, the only way to go to this page that shows you the accurate page count is if you're connected to the internet for whatever fucking reason. So when it happens to me all the time, when I'm out, away from internet, on my laptop, I'm typing, and I'm on a roll. I'm feeling so good about this. Oh, these are good pages, and I'm making so much progress. I get home, I plug it in, and I've written like 3 pages. And I expected it to be so much more than this.
Yeah.
This felt like 15 at the very least. Come on.
Yeah, no, that's another way how it goes.
What the fuck is happening here?
Oh, what, the comment section?
No. The image I'm editing at the moment. What?
Oh, don't get me started about editing image. So, when I was building this ruin image in the background, I kind of feel bad now. Maybe I didn't put a secret code in anywhere, but I was just doing my damnedest to make it look like a real set of code. You know, I didn't want to have like 5 lines of the same 5 characters repeated over and over again. So I was doing so much editing, just moving individual runes around, and like, okay, does this look randomly-ish generated enough that it's just like, you know, it's like pulling up an image in its raw data format and you see just a mess of characters. That's what I was trying to get across.
Everyone thought...
Everyone was looking for code. I didn't even think of that.
I fucking love that. I saw the thing. I saw people mentioning it in the comment section, and I thought to myself, this guy would never mentioned anything about hiding a code. That seems like the sort of thing he would have told me about. What code did he add?
Yeah, I tried to put that out there for people after the fact, but it's like, no, there's no code. It was literally just me trying to, you know, break up any, you know, anything that looked too continuous. So you know what I actually did? It's actually one giant, like, 8K image, and then for each of the 5 layers, because there's 5 layers, and then the 6th layer is the front thing, the little bubble thing. For each of the 5 layers, it's all just one image at different frames, and so it's like one's the top left corner, one's the top right corner, one's the bottom left, bottom right, and then the center is the front image. So that's what that is.
Emote it to make you think that he's not going to hit you.
Oh my god, I only have 2 images of this shot left to edit, I think. Oh my god.
Noise.
Oh my god.
I give them that.
I didn't think I was that far ahead.
We should point out for the chat, if you have any questions for Vermont, now is the time, because he's got to go here.
Yes. Now is the time. Once I finish editing these images, I need to pull everything into After Effects and start compositing and then move on to the next one. Oh my god. On the bright side, this film is going to look really, really pretty when it's done, but stop motion is also the devil, and it is killing me.
Level 11 now.
That was a terrible idea, by the way. The fact that myself and my partner were sitting there, you know, need to work. Like, cool, we need to work on our graduation project. What do you want to do? And then we're both like, well, we both really like stop motion, and the first project we did together was a stop motion, and you know, we're really good at it. And then we're like, okay, cool, we'll do a stop motion. And here we are, sitting here, editing out image by image all the different frames to remove the braces that hold the characters up. Why? Why did I do this to myself? This isn't friendship.
I could use some extra magic right about now.
I could really use magic at the moment. Like, I have edited, I think it must be about 2,000 images at this point, because not everything can be done properly in After Effects. Sometimes I've got to do it in Photoshop, like the shot I'm doing at the moment. Or there were certain shots where we didn't shoot any clean plates for. You need to shoot a clean plate background so that you can remove the braces. And there were certain shots where we didn't do that, so I had to construct backgrounds out of different pieces of the footage. Okay, comment section. Yes, Samuel, yes. Actually, no. See, my opinion of bananas depends. It depends on, am I doing exercise at the time and there's no other food nearby? Then yes, I like bananas. If it is any other scenario, no, I don't like bananas.
It's a very specific scenario.
Yeah, very specific scenario.
So when you're saying when you're working out, you like to see bananas where you're working out?
Yeah.
At like a gym or something? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, that would be really nice.
Lots of bananas.
All the bananas.
I
especially in the showers.
Especially in the showers. I myself enjoy bananas. Not in the same context as James, but I like bananas in the general sense.
Roy Mustang asks, Bumblebee or White Rose? Big time White Rose. I have been a fan of White Rose since episode 2, which is where both characters came on screen at the same time. So at the time, it wasn't even called White Rose; it was called Rice, because because and at the time, because it was the combination of their names. Because at the time, people were just using the standard shipping style of combining their names.
Brangelina, I hate that shit. It's so bad.
It's one of the things that I really like about this fan base is that they actually create really interesting names.
Ruby fan base is actually really fun. The shit posting groups especially, so great.
So I actually really like White Rose. There was some serious White Rose vibes in the first episode and in the intro. So that was really nice. I'm really interested to see how Blake and Yang's relationship goes, because it's clear that they're going to be arced together in this season.
Yeah,
no idea in what direction, but that's where they've definitely set it up.
Yeah, I also enjoy White Rose. I don't know about Bumblebee because I don't like Blake as a character personally. I feel like
don't like her.
Yeah, I don't know. She's just like I get there's a certain level where Tsundere just becomes bitch, and that's honestly it's like a line she rides so close that I really can't decide.
She's also kind of bland. The mysterious ninja with the dark past is so overdone and it worked in Daredevil. I think that's the most modern example of something that works. No, Roy, I don't think it's canon.
I got an outfit.
Oh yeah, no, there's no way that'll be canon.
It's definitely not canon. White Rose, I genuinely think has the potential to be canon, though.
That would be hot.
I think that could be a thing. All right, Do we have any plans for Halloween?
Is that
Halloween
even a thing in South Africa? I know some Europeans have told me that it's very American, really. That in Europe it's not really that big of a deal.
No, it's definitely a thing here. It's definitely a thing we do. See, we still, despite being a former European colony, have actually taken a lot of influence from America. So there are certain elements there that do pop up, and we do very much. That is still a thing that we celebrate quite. Not to the extent of Americans, nowhere near to that extent, but...
Yeah, because America's the worst at, like, commercializing holidays, so it sort of becomes then, it's a lot easier to see than, okay, here's your holiday special of whatever show, or Christmas special, too, you know, that's the drawback, of course. It's the marketplace of culture.
I think this may be the same doctor. It's the same people.
But yeah, Halloween's fun. I just like it for, you know, okay, it's scary story season. Like what I was about to go into before you came on the podcast, which was Castlevania, which is incredible.
Ooh,
oh my
I
God.
still haven't even seen that yet.
I just shotgunned the whole series last night. So good.
I should probably watch that.
Gorgeous animation. I love the animation so much. There should be 10 shows like that all the time.
I've seen pieces of the animation. It's one of those things where I actually... Castlevania is an example of it. BoJack Horseman's kind of an example, but not so much. Has Been Hotel looks like it's going to be a really good example.
Yes.
Of animation for adults that doesn't look like shit.
Yeah. Yeah, that's not like... It's not like a rude comedy like Big Mouth.
Yeah. Exactly, like, oh God, I had an argument with one of our patrons about this the other day, and it got me proper mad, because
also, so they,
Big Mouth is objectively ugly as hell.
Yeah, I mean...
and the argument that was used on me was that not wanting to watch a show because its aesthetic design is bad is the same bad argument as not wanting to play a game because the graphics aren't super duper high, which no, there's a very big difference between fidelity and aesthetic design. And like, you know, I'm trying to think of an example of a game with shite graphics but great aesthetic design.
Anything for PlayStation 2.
Yeah, anything for PlayStation 2. Early World of Warcraft is actually a really good example. Graphics in early World of Warcraft were... Yeah, for the first couple expansions, it was really shite, but its artistic direction is so good that it holds up really, really well. And that's kind of the same thing. And the aesthetic design is a huge decision. It's what you are going to be watching and taking in visually for the entire duration of the show, and in animation that is key. And I really don't understand. You know, when people then say to me, yeah, but they purposefully made it look ugly, and the thought comes into my head of who sits down as a designer, as an artist, as a director, and says, guys, I've got a great idea for our show. We're gonna make it look like shit. It's going to be so great. Like, at that point, I actually don't care if it is thematically appropriate. Don't make your shows look like shit. It's just, Big Mouth looks so ugly, and Family Guy looks really ugly. The Simpsons looks okay-ish. Disenchanted looks meh. Futurama occasionally can look cool, but... Yeah, Futurama's probably like one of the prettier versions of that. BoJack Horseman does some really interesting stuff with its design, but other times it's also kind of meh visually. But holy crap, Castlevania looks spectacular, and Has Been Hotel looks really, really pretty, and has really good artistic direction.
Yeah, I feel like there's sort of a line of thinking that if something's a comedy, it should have like a weirder art style, or it's okay if it looks like visually ugly. Like, you know, Seth MacFarlane stuff is pretty like bland, generic now, but even compared to Simpsons art style, I think, personally, I find Family Guy, you know, American Dad style much uglier than The Simpsons. Because at least The Simpsons is a bit more stylized with the overbites and the big eyes, and I don't know. It just, it feels more 90s, I guess. It has that 90s, you know, nostalgia effect.
Oh, 100%. The Simpsons looks a lot better. I kind of lumped it into the meh group of, like, it looks okay-ish. And again, it has moments where where when staged right and backed with the right emotion, and when framed right and lit right, Simpsons animation can look really, really pretty. But the prevailing opinion is that animation for adults needs to look shitty, or can afford to look shitty, because it's mostly just dick jokes and whatever.
Well, also, like, Castlevania is very pretty, but they have some, like, you know, raunchy humor in there, too. There's a scene where, like, Alucard is, like, flipping off Trevor, and, fuck, I always forget the girl's name. She gets in between them, and she's like, "You're both acting like children." It's so great. What's really funny, too, if you do, you should watch the whole series, but it, especially with season 2, the main writer guy, he's boosting his name really big on the title Chiron. Warren Ellis wants to make sure you know he's the, you know, big guy in charge. And he does a great job. I do enjoy the writing, so I approve of that shamelessness.
Oh, yeah, no,
I'd be a hypocrite if I didn't, so I have to approve.
Yeah, I can't really comment. I can't really criticize that, because I would be a hypocrite, because all of the promotional and cover art for Untypical, my name is in the fucking logo for it.
Hell yeah.
It is EAST Corp Presents Untypical, created by James Vermont. That is the logo for the show. It's like, I want you to know who is making it, and I want you to know that I created that motherfucker.
It's all about name recognition, baby. And it's like, they put the directors up there too, but I respect that, of the writers wanting to assert, this is written by me. I'm awesome. If you like this, you know, hire me for more writing gigs. I can respect that.
Yeah, oh, definitely. Hire me for more writing gigs.
I mean, directors do that. Why can't writers? Writers have arguably just as much influence on a script than the director.
And, you know, being a writer is really difficult. I was watching a video by Yahtzee, I think it was his Sacred 3 review, where he was talking about one of the most difficult things about being a writer is that it's not one of those really niche skills where people are like, fuck, I don't have the training to do that. Like, I don't, at no point would I be able to sit down and be like, I could be an engineer. You know, I could watch maybe that one or two popular videos, like a couple of video essays on engineering, and I'd be able to be a good engineer. Practice a little bit, try. You know, my mom says I'm a good engineer. I put a shelf up once, and the marble didn't, and I put a marble on it, and it took like an hour for it to roll to the side, so it was only slightly off balance.
Hell yeah.
So that. But with writing, everyone can type onto a keyboard and everyone can form full sentences. Well, some people can form full sentences. Apparently, I can't when I'm speaking. But everyone thinks they can do it, and you know they think, cool. I'll watch some Every Frame a Painting, a Nerd Writer video here and there. Maybe lessons from the screenplay, and I'm cool. That's my studying. I'm a writer now. Oh, and I watch a lot of Tarantino. Oh. That's never mind. Never mind the people who sit and practice writing every single day. Never mind that I sit and I study and I work. I've actually gone to university. Which, again, to film school, whether or not it's helpful is always up for debate. That's the eternal people who go to film school still argue about whether or not it was time well spent.
What you get?
But whatever, it was still 3 years of dedicated study into screenwriting.
Who'd you bet?
But, you know, guaranteed people, you know, be like, I can type, I know how to words.
I feel like film school, that'll help you make contacts, which is honestly the most important thing in professional art industry, is making contacts. That's why, even though everyone talks about, like, oh, you know, Cal Arts or USC is this, you know, big bastion of, you know, creatives, it's like, well, kind of, yeah, but it's also kind of like the Harvard, where it's just like, it's the name recognition, you know, that's where you bump into people who have a lot of sway in the industry and can pull you onto a project where you can put yourself out there.
100, like, big time, like my university does not have that, especially if you're an animator. Our animation department has 7 people in it.
Oh no!
The department is putting out 4 films this term, and it is one of those things. Like, there was this guy last year who put on his CV that he consistently placed in the top 3 films of his year group in animation across his time, and that is because there were only 3 films being made in his year.
I like that. That's good marketing.
Yeah. That's good marketing. I know for a fact that that the film we're making now is either going to be number 1 or number 2 of our year group for animation. But I'm definitely not going to include the fact that there were only 4 films being made.
That's the way to do it, man. That's how you sell yourself.
I think the other thing that film school really does do very well is it gets you making films. And it, like, not as much as I think people should, you know, but it making and releasing content is the best practice that you're going to get. Like, the work that I've done here at EAST Corp over the last 2 years has been just as valuable to me as the horrifyingly expensive film school. Because whilst I'm not sitting and learning from experts, I am sitting working with a lot of very talented people trying to figure out how to do something. And you know, you've got to release it and you've got to market it all by yourself.
Yeah, and that's even harder, honestly, than making a good product, is just getting that product in the right audiences and the right mediums. It's like, it's just like anything else. It's really just finding the market that you can sell to, essentially.
Oof. I know people always say, you never really predict just how difficult marketing is. You're not going to be prepared for how difficult it is to market yourself. And everyone says it, at which point you're like, yes, I understand. I know that I don't know how hard marketing is. Until you actually get there and you're like, oh my God, they were actually right.
Yeah.
Oh my God, even with the warnings, this is being hard.
Oh yeah.
We try a lot in terms of trying to market ourselves. It is the most difficult part of this whole process, I think I'd say.
Okay, I think that's
yeah, it's really like, you know, I'm sure you mean for Untypical specifically, but even for our Fallout Equestria stuff, it's like, you gotta find the right groups and like Facebook and Twitter groups and stuff and really put it out there. Keep, you know, boosting to Equestria Daily and hoping that K-Cat boosts it on her blog. It's really, you know, a Reddit, it's a lot of stuff like that. It's about just, you know, just canvassing, I guess is the right word, just blanketing it out there with the fact that you exist, and just to remind people of that fact.
You need to tell people that you exist. With Untypical, that was its own big thing, because on the... this is actually really, really funny. So Untypical has officially done better on its SoundCloud than it has on the EAST Corp channel.
Nice.
And since we all know, trying to get people to move from one channel to another,
it's impossible.
It's impossible. So I'm fairly certain that maybe 10 people on the SoundCloud are existing EAST Corp fans, but everyone else, the other 600 or 700 people are people who've never even heard of us before. And it was and that that came from I think the two big ones were hiring a voice actor recognition within the audio drama community, doing something completely unique, which was our fight scenes, where our action scenes are unlike anything else in the audio drama medium, and the third one was getting reviewers and tastemakers to write articles about us. And even that only pushed it up to like 700 odd views. And then the EAST Corp side, that became its own difficult thing, because now I'm trying to market a Firefly-inspired magical post-apocalyptic adventure to fans of a story about dark, depressed horses who are talking about how sad they are. And both of those things are really, really cool, but they don't speak to each other. So trying to get the fans to overlap is so hard.
Yeah.
I love you guys. I really do. But jumping that taste was always really funny.
Yeah, no, it really is, and I know SoundCloud, in a lot of its own ways, it's its own community, social network kind of thing. It's something that I never really understood. Like, I think I had a SoundCloud at one point, like when StableTech did, and I didn't pay too much attention. I'm kind of set in my ways, I guess. If I really wanted to go, like, professional, I would work much harder at this, but it's, you know, I don't know.
I mean, you already work really, really hard at it already. Logan Looker in the comment section, maybe you could work with KCAT to write a full Equestria story. She could help get your name out there. Funny story about that. I'm not going to go into too many details on this. I actually did approach KCAT to get her to work on, not as a primary writer, but to help with some overall story stuff. Sort of. The role is more akin to what an executive producer would do on a TV show, for example. For a project that I have in the works that is not Untypical or Terminal Secrets. And very much the general response I got was, that's actually a really, really cool idea. I'm interested, but I have fuck all time, so good luck.
Yeah, I hope that, you know, Todd Howard, or whatever KCAT's doing, that they have, you know, a successful, you know, they are a writer that is maybe known, or they're getting some stuff published on Amazon, and, you know, you hope for the best, especially in that case, where it's like, you always want to see people be able to come out of that, like, sort of fandom, amateur level, and make a little more, you know, out of their creative pursuits. That's the dream for all of us.
Maybe one of my other theories is that KCAT is actually Dmitry Glukovsky, who writes the Metro game, the Metro books. Oh. That's one of my working theories at the moment.
That's pretty fun.
I could see KCAT actually being Russian. Firstly,
you got to have the Russian ponies.
I mean, the Russian side of the Fallout Equestria fan base is huge.
Oh, they're awesome. We love our Russian fans.
Yeah. And then and then, you know, there are just the general similarities in tone between Fallout Equestria and Metro. Metro is fantastic, by the way. I've started listening to the audiobook for 2033 now. So that's one of my working theories. If KCAT's not Todd Howard, then she's Dmitry Glukovsky. I think that's his surname. I might have got that wrong.
Either way, anyway. It's like, yeah, it's definitely, you know, it's great having those magical horse. As much magical horse as we can get. That's the best thing.
Anyway, now that I am done, you know, telling our fans how difficult they are to market to.
Awesome.
That in itself is a great marketing method, by the way, everyone. Go tell your fans that they're difficult to market to.
Well, you know what the best thing to market to is to make it on podcast more often. Same with Needle.
That's very, very true. That's very true. Actually, arriving on a podcast to talk about shit and to be like, hey, there's this thing called Terminal Secrets and this other thing called Untypical, and you guys should really, really watch it because it's really awesome.
I'd argue that our podcasts are one of our biggest profit motive. It seems like a lot of our Patreon fans came to us from that as a for base, and we get a decent amount of super chats for the size of our channel.
Speaking of which, there have been no super chats, and I'm offended by you guys. Like, damn.
You got to target them, like Sketchy Rivet. There we go. We had a long discussion about Stable 69 that Sketchy Rivet was all about. So they were nice enough to give us some super chats.
The Sketchy Rivet's a regular one when it comes to dropping the super chats, which is funny because I don't think I actually see Sketchy Rivet drop anything or a lot of comments into the actual videos. It seems that he or she is, or they are. Primarily a podcast fan. Oh my God! Sketchy Rivet's in the chat.
Heyo. Yeah. So, see, the podcast for me is therapeutic because I have a certain words per minute I really need to speak every day, or else I start going crazy, and I don't have that opportunity at work. I'm sitting silently at my desk, doing drawings in AutoCAD and Revit. So, yeah. So yeah, the podcasts are treatment. This is like my drug. It's just like ponies. Okay,
I'm on 2% battery now. I do actually have to go.
All right.
Goodbye, everyone. I'm probably just going to listen in on the chat.
Okie dokie. Goodbye, Vermont.
Goodbye. Oh, Sketchy Rivet only just arrived. That's funny.
That's really funny. We're just praising you.
All right, I'm off.
All right, goodbye. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and switch the branding back to BananaCast because that is how it started, and that is how it shall return. From ashes to ashes and dust to dust. But I'm glad I was able to guilt. You see the BananaCast. I was able to guilt Vermont into showing up for a little while. So that's something. Hopefully we can make that work with the others. Guilt them into showing up. Okay, so I was laughing a bit in the middle of all that because West Virginia Tourism Board have been going nuts with Fallout 76. Like I stumbled upon their Twitter and it's Fallout 76 crap left and right. Like I imagine this has got to be gigantic for them. Like, oh my god, someone's talking about West Virginia. Same with that Bob Dylan song. It's like, oh, thank God this exists. We're going to run this into the ground. So, it's a good time for that. It's nice country. I mean, I drove the Virginia side of the Appalachians. That's something new I just learned this week. I didn't know there was a point of contention where the locals in Appalachia prefer to refer to it as such, and that appellation is almost like condescending. So I honestly didn't know that, so I'm gonna start changing my approach to that. I mean, I lived in regular Virginia for a long time, and the few times it came up, I would hear appellation too. So I don't know, maybe it's considered more local. But if you ever go to West Virginia or the parts of the other states, apparently Appalachian is the real authentic local way of saying it. And so when I started hearing it in the game, it threw me off. But then when I started reading into it, it's like, oh, okay, well, I'm really glad they did their work. Otherwise, Fallout 76 would come across as a big insult. And need more Needlecasts. I mean, they would be podcasts if she, it's like I keep saying, I try to plan these. Like the thing today, it was supposed to be all of us and Kelly, and Nina was always at the wedding, but we were trying to have an anniversary podcast. But whatever. I'm always like, if they just drop me a few days in advance, like, hey, what time are you free? That's what I do with every one of these. So anyway, there's literally the only thing. Wait, what's the only thing bringing people in? Lurkmont. All the bananas. Yeah, I know. Well, you see, branding is important. It's like we talked about there before. So it's like, okay, if it's gonna be just me, I want to make sure people know that going in. So you're like, okay, it's just another Skybolt monocast, is to have had enough of that. So you can go, you can go away if you want. You don't have to tune in. So that's all it's about, is we're just trying to be clear with the branding. And I'll be honest, once I put in the time to actually put together the template, I kind of like it now. I'm really happy with how everything assembled together. I've got the gradient with the EAST Corp blue and the logo in the corner, and you got Celestia enjoying herself on the banana. And yeah, we got branding now. I couldn't come up with a name originally, so I went with the double pun of Intel Inside Edition. So I don't know. That was supposed to be a reference to like the runes inside, because we've been talking about the runes for a long time. So anyway, yeah. So what else was I going to talk about? Before Vermont so rudely interrupted us with normal Breakroom podcast conversation. Oh, Castlevania. Yeah, so I'm damn excited. I really loved Castlevania. I was watching that all of last night while I was kind of busy doing some like housework, but for the most part I was able to watch everything is like the best way I could, and that was such a great show. I really loved it. It is really fun. The music is a little subdued, but I like the feel of it. It's sort of has a synthy, like a Daredevil kind of sound to it, almost like the Daredevil Netflix series. And I like that. I don't know, like that semi-synthetic ambience. It's a good feel, and especially for a show like that, it actually worked out really well with all the magic and stuff going on. Yeah, gorgeous animation. Story was interesting. Every character had a decent arc to explain who they were and what they were doing and what their stakes in the whole Draculia thing were. Vlad Tepes. What else was there? There's the well, I'm kind of a junkie for quote-unquote happy endings, too. So I guess that it has a good ending of Season 2, but it's not an ending, really. There's a lot of setup for a Season 3 and beyond, but it is a very nice, close arc with Season 1 and 2 and what happens to our Trevor Belmont and Alucard and all those people. So, yeah, I guess Vermont's gone too, so if you guys have any questions in the chat for me, by all means. Oh my god, it's Sketchy River with $5. 5 America bucks. To answer your question, I don't comment on videos in general because I have a hard time coming up with what to write. No, that's perfectly fine. It's just our, it was sort of Vermont and I trying to get across the human condition. It's all about everything is damn it, what's the right word? Incentive. That's it. Everything humans do is driven by incentive system. So it's like, if you want more of something, you have to, financially backing something by seeing a movie opening day or buying the Blu-ray box set right away. It's all incentives, because then when that first report from sales comes in, then they can see, oh shit, look at how many people bought the Firefly DVD box set. And, that gets back up to the executive producer who's like, okay, well, maybe we can option the idea for this Serenity movie to close out the series, even though we, completely destroyed the TV show it was meant to be. But, as bad as I feel for Firefly, it's not really a unique case. Science fiction on television is always a hazard. Like, the only ones that, are really successful are the ones that kind of, slip science into an otherwise differently formatted show. The best example of that is The X-Files, which, of course, sort of similar thing with Fringe after that, where it's essentially like an FBI cop show, Monster of the Week, but then the monsters and stuff, and then you get a little bit more of your science fiction up in there. make the D jokes. You need to get some more D inside of you. That's the key. I have heard of that thing that Lucondrix is talking about before, where I think it was the House MD episode, circling back to what we were talking about before. But that is definitely hard. I wouldn't like that either with vitamin D issues, because my dad's from Wisconsin, so where our family in general eats a lot of dairy, like, milk, cheese of every kind. It's like, it's part of every meal. So that would be very hard for us. Yeah, live streams are a lot more interactive. I gotta say, when the whole thing started like a year and a half ago, I wasn't sure what to do. Like, I was very nervous for HawkCon, just because that was like framed as like a convention. So I was really trying to like put on airs, and you can go back to those original live streams, were kind of fun. The the live test where it's me and Needle and I'm eating a tuna sandwich, and then what was the one where I was looking at the plushies? I was demoing the video screen. I forget what I titled it, but you can go back in our we have a playlist for like old live streams, and those should be at the very bottom. Yeah, interactive is fun. If you can connect to creators, it's sort of a half and half, because you don't want to take away, like, you don't want to like too much like destroy the separation between the art and the creator per se. Like, hopefully you, the fans of like Confessions and stuff, can still get a lot out of it, even though you recognize our voices. Like, I think for the most part, most people can. Like for Tara Strong, once you know what her voice sounds like and you hear her in all of her various characters, like, I can still appreciate the characters, even though if you put the voices back to back, you do really start hearing the similarities of the one person. Sorry. It's the same thing with Mel Blanc, honestly. Growing up, I had no idea most of the Looney Tunes were just done by one guy. But then once you do know, it kind of makes sense. Or same with The Simpsons, where it kind of just gives, like, that kind of character to the show. Or South Park, where it's like, okay, so with Mel Blanc, all the characters sort of have that, like, that metamorphosed Manhattanite, Bostonian, like, half and half accent, and in a lot of ways it's I don't know, it sort of like becomes like almost like a soundtrack for the show. It adds that sort of audio character for the production. What else are we talking about? Bisexuality? Okay, that's great. Yeah. Also, I'll throw this out there too, because we talk about marketing and stuff. Our Facebook page, we still have a lot of fun with that, with memes and everything, and announcements and new things. So if you still use Facebook and you aren't subscribed to us, you should follow us there, because it's fun. We also just dumped a whole bunch more wallpapers that I guess I had forgotten, like, all of the Confessions 5 episode stuff, and then I added a whole bunch of other stuff too. So we just updated our wallpaper folder. We've got like 100 things up there now. Including a very old picture that our beloved, damn it, what was his name now? It's something Spectre at one point. Damn it. One of our original artists for EAST Corp did for the Great Experiment documentary. I think I threw that up there as like a teaser, because we are still doing the Great Experiment. We have too much raw audio and everything already put together. So we're gonna put that together. That'll be a nice little fun, like, just framework for doing internet content creation. I think it's gonna be really fun. Just something different that Vermont and I wanted to try anyway. Because we both really, really loved that Waking Sleeping Beauty documentary, and I think we both want to see if we can do something like that. Yeah, so now I gotta go watch that Ruby episode 1 now that Vermont's talking about it. I am excited because it seems like anything with a snow train does well. Like, snow train is the key to making good to making a good show. I don't know what it is. I'd like to remind people that in The Ranger, at the whole second half, the whole ending scene, it is winter and they're going up a snow-covered mountain to Delta Pass and everything. That's why they have snow, water runoff and stuff like that. Folger's Midnight Special. Did I point out I drank Folgers for a small amount of time, but then I went over to Yukon brand Pacific Coast Blend is really good. Good coffee. Sorry, Ubon brand coffee. Yeah, so that's good. Yeah, so I got to catch up on Ruby there. Yeah, one good thing talking about Jeff Williams is he's consistent. Like, obviously the number of, like, you know, number one kind of like hit songs, it's going to be lower as time goes on just because he's been doing this for 6 years now. Like, and of course nostalgia always factors in too. So a lot of the season 1 and 2, volume 1 and 2 songs are very, you know, special to me. And personally, I still think Time to Say Goodbye is my favorite opening still. Well, maybe not opening. I like the song. I think the best opening was probably season 3, and that song, which is We May Fall, is probably the second best song. But I personally always really liked Time to Say Goodbye. Yeah, so Ruby's pretty great. I'm glad the season's back too, because like I said, I have a few groups I'm in various places that are really fun Ruby talking fan groups. What else was I just gonna say? Damn it. I was just thinking of the next thing I was gonna transition to. Damn it. Ruby, and then it was something else music related too. Oh, the Pony special. Okay, so apparently that just came out today. I just downloaded it, so gonna watch that later, and then hopefully once we have our another proper Founders cast of all 4 of us, then we can talk about that and everything else we've done this year, because we have done a lot of shit this year. Oh yeah, Vermont in the chat. Divide is definitely one of my favorite songs too. Jeff Williams is really good at those really, really solid bridges. I really love the this kind of musicality he does with the various bridges of the songs. And if you're damn it, what was I just gonna say? My mind is starting to break now. I'm a few hours out from the coffee I had when I first started the podcast. Yeah, only 2 hours too, where it's much more condensed, a little bit a better, I guess, amount of time. It's so I guess that's something we could ask too. Like, are you guys enjoying these BananaCasts? As I mentioned when James was still here, it is a bit therapeutic for me. I definitely, you know, I like getting the words out there. I think that comes from my mom, where I have to have a minimum words per day. Otherwise, I start feeling like bottled up, and you know, just don't have a lot of, like, you know, week to week kind of things. Yeah, but I think it's fun. I like staring at this corporate banana picture that I edited however long ago. I forget who drove the original picture, but I know I added the corporate. But the Celestia and the banana are from someone that I probably should credit for this somewhere. I'm sure you can reverse image search it pretty quickly. In fact, let me see. Celestia banana. Probably half the pictures are gonna be our stuff coming up. Oh, here we go. Yeah, it's on like the first page of Google Images. If you Google Celestia banana, it's does it say the artist? No, this is like some kind of like weird uploader site. Okay, so you can find the image, but it's not like a DeviantArt, so I don't know who the original artist is. So I'm not trying to, you know, steal art or whatever. You can easily Google the image, but I can't track down the original artist. Anyway, okay, I'm glad people are enjoying the BananaCast. See, that's the tricky thing, is I don't know if, like, you know, people hate me or whatever. Like, I understand there's great value in Needle and Oakhart. I would have both of them on every podcast every time if I could. I would have Oakhart and Kelly for sure on every podcast if I could, just so they can throw their Britishisms into everything, because that's really funny and I like that. But, you know, it's the same with Confessions, is a number of moving parts, you know, to make a quick quick podcast. That's it's easy to do. Hopefully, speaking of all of our first of all, I'm so glad that the Wasteland survival guides are back. I know Needle had a rough time with her computer for a while there, but it is so great having them on a semi-regular release again, because we've been writing the whole time. Like, both James and I have, like, I think 6 of them still in the docket right now, and then we've got way more to write as we're finishing out the series here. And I'm already starting to do pre-production work on what the actual printed guide could look like, or PDF or whatever, and other things like that. So I'm really excited. I really want it to be good. So that's been good. I'm really glad too. I mentioned this to her like a month ago. I'm like, if you can, do the Balefire thing next, because that would be so perfect for a Fallout Day Wasteland survival guide. It could possibly be the first chronological chapter in order, because it's the first thing you learn about the Wasteland. It's like, okay, there's environmental hazards. There's literally areas where you shouldn't stand for too long because it's slowly killing you with these microscopic. I hope people enjoyed too the way I described radiation in, like, you know, Magic Pony terms. Is because everything starts out with these big ass balefire crystal eggs, and so, you know, what's the natural assumption? It's like, okay, there's magic involved, they're cursed, but the idea that then the cursed shard, you know, the cursed crystal is then vaporized and all these tiny dust particles, you have something very true to radiation in that sense. Like, I know some some groups still think of radiation in a sort of semi magical sense, like as a magical energy source to be harnessed. I know. Yeah, that's right. Balefire Symphony. I mean, at this point, you know, it's my creative input, and then Kelly's incredible arrangement. I gotta say, more than anything, I think literally every cover that Kelly's done is better than the original. Just in purely musical terms, I really love his arrangement of Open Up Your Eyes over the original. And then we had the Everybody Knows. Of course, that was a cover of the original Everybody Knows song, but the idea. And then what else? This one, honestly, I thought he did a lot better than the Knives. I did put in the description. Hopefully, people go check out that Knives album after the fact. It's you know, I'll be perfectly honest. It is technically sort of a Christian band, kind of. It's like Switchfoot or Skillet. Not Skrillex. The rock band, anyway, where it's like, you know, it's kind of those undertones sometimes, but a lot of general people can listen to the music and enjoy it. Anyway, I really like the album. I helped kickstart it because I knew the band before, some of the band members, and yeah, it's really good. There's a lot of songs in there that have a really nice Fallout-y feel that, honestly, I would parody myself if I could just find an instrumental somewhere out there. There's one song called Parasites, and then there's another called Fools that are both really, really good, have a really nice end of the world kind of feel, and some things like that. So, just throwing that out there, if you want to check that out. What else was it? Oh, then last year, of course, then that was Woodkid. We credited Woodkid, of course. I didn't explicitly state it's the Golden Age song from the Golden Age album, but I thought that was easy enough for people to understand because, you know, the Gilded Age. It's not that different. Hopefully everyone got that, because that's you know, of course, that's a quality album too. Go check out the Golden Age album if you haven't yet. Yeah, so that's fun, and we have definitely more songs in the docket. Actually, one thing that I've had to put off for entirely too long that I do need to get back to. So I apologize to Kelly for that, because that's time has been a vampire to me. It's like whenever I have free, like, creative time, you know, usable creative time, there's a giant list of things that I do still have to get done, where it's like, especially Confession 7 ate up my whole summer to the point that it pissed off someone else I was working with, so then I had to apologize to them and really make that number one for the last couple of months. But now that thing is almost done, so hopefully, you know, hopefully that's back on track so I can put more focus back into Confessions writing and other things like that. So it's tricky. But that's the way things go. Mainly, I had to get all this Fallout Day stuff done because it's the one thing where we have a definitive release date. We have to get it out on Fallout Day, so you can't mess around with that. So that's why that was very high priority. Like a Christmas-related stuff, that's important too, but we really don't have like Christmas-ish releases per se anymore. In a way, the Winter Solstice episode, that was one that did have to get done for Winter Solstice for Wasteland Survival Guide, and then Kelly's very nice, winter wrap-up cover was very. I still love that. I still think it's very underrated. Very, very nice. Exactly what I wanted when I approached him about the idea. It's like a nice little Christmassy sounding, subtle holiday type song type version of it, because it's a bit of a foil. It's like it's the start of winter, but we're doing the winter wrap up song. But I feel like in the context of the episode, everyone was picking up what we were putting down. Damn it, where was that now? I was just going to play that in the background. K for Calais. Damn it. Okay, where did this go now? Now I lost it. Okay, now I'm pissed off. Where did I put that now? Is it in the Wasteland Survival Guide album? Could be.
When I was a filly.
Nope, that's the voice audio. There we go. Okay, sweet. Put that in the little background there. Okay, anyway, so now the Fallout Day's over, I'm already excited for the holidays around the corner. I'll be honest, I'm one of those guys, it's like, as soon as Halloween is over next week, and probably leading up to that, I'm Christmas mode. I'm already looking at getting decorations up and stuff, and I'm excited for that. It's gonna be great. I always love the holiday season. It's very magical, What's the schedule for these BananaCasts? It's really random. It's just whenever I wanna. It's really whenever I have free time, but I don't have creative energy, and also if I really feel like I just like I mentioned earlier, if I had a whole day at work where I didn't talk to anyone, and it's like kind of drives you crazy. I'm like, I just want to do a quick podcast. Why not? So it's as haphazard as the other ones, but the other ones are harder because you have to sort of plan it out and sort of try to get people, and that's been less successful the last couple of months, so it's defaulting to these solo things. Thanksgiving dinner. Thanksgiving is part of Christmas as far as I'm concerned. It's sort of the general fall-a-day season. the autumnal excitements. So in a way, Christmas is like the end game. Once you hit Christmas, then you're into just the dead of winter, which kind of sucks, because then you're starting up school again. Maybe if you do a lot of sledding and skiing, that is where your holidays begin. But for me, especially our family, we have so many things going on in the fall that it's like, this is the magical time. This is when all the fun, happy, family things are happening. Yeah, turning on notifications is good because of the haphazard nature of our podcast. So if you smash that motherfucking bell button if you want, because that'll let you know right away when we start streaming. Where it's EAST Corp time. It's whenever we have time to do stuff. Oh, that's what I was gonna say. With regards to Fallout Day, hopefully everyone enjoyed too the last day confessions compilation video. That was another thing I really wanted to do, pretty much as soon as the Mercenary came out. I'm like, I want to pull this Harvest Orange audio and make it its own video, but I also didn't want it to just be by itself, because there's a lot of other stuff around the day of the Great War that I really wanted to kind of remind people of, really elaborate on. So I was really glad we had that opportunity to just pull it all together to be the last day and really pull in all of those little conversation points around the end of the war from the story, because it's a nice little reminder, and I feel like it'll be useful for people going forward. Yeah, that's the other thing as far as timing goes. It's like, you know, maybe I'll screw around in like a weeknight and end up doing a short little thing like this. But if we want to maximize our listenership, we definitely try to aim at something where most of America and most of Europe can listen at the same time. I'm sure we do have some Australian fans too, but I can never plan that schedule. That's a lot trickier because of time zones. So it's hard to plan out, you know, where they would be relative to us. Yeah, so that's great. I'm glad holiday season's about to start. I've been super happy with how Confessions writing has come too. The amount of time I've had to actually work on that, because it's I really like it. I really like the way the Confessions 8 story is turning out. It should be a lot of fun. Hopefully everyone will enjoy it. Yeah, so that's always fun. Any more Fallout stories planned for the future? You know, we're gonna finish Confessions and Terminal Secrets within like the next month. We're gonna finish Confessions and Wasteland Survival Guide and go from there. Or we're not saying yes or no, but it would just, you know, we want to see the end game for both of those first and foremost. And it's still an option. We're really not sure yet, but it's just, especially for me, after almost 5 years now, I want to see Confessions to a really proper, super good close, and then you know, bookend that, and then we can do more things in the future. Yeah, so I don't know. We'll see what happens. Oh, that's right. The beta thing on Xbox goes live here, or it went live at one point. I don't know how the PC beta is going to work. I got an email saying I can preload it now, and then it like, what does it start on, like October 30th? So probably not going to be able to show up then. It's probably going to end up being where I don't end up getting to play the beta because of like time zones or something, or being busy, or I don't know. I've never really done PC gaming in a long time either, so I'm going to get this loaded up and see. I think my system should be able to handle it. It's pretty new-ish, and it was really, you know, top of the line when I did build this PC like 2 years ago, so hopefully that's good. Yeah, and then the tricky thing too is going to be with songs. I'm going to look at other YouTubers doing like Let's Plays and stuff and see if they can have their you know, Pip-Boy radio going on while they're doing stuff, or if that's going to be like a content strike. Here's the thing. If they just simply don't monetize video, I'm okay with that. You know, we can still get like our super chats and stuff if you guys want, or just want to watch and get views that factor in. But it's like, what was I going to say? But if they would like, you know, like copyright strike the video, or like try to remove it or shut it down if we listen to any Pip-Boy songs, then that's gonna suck. Then anytime we stream, we can't have that on in the background. So we'll see what happens with that. But I do like the soundtrack, at least from the videos I've watched with like Oxhorn or whatever. The soundscaping, the Eno and Zur music, that's pretty nice. I kind of like that better than Fallout 4. I like all of Fallout music better than Fallout 4. I don't know what it was, but the blending of like the sort of the sea, I don't know, the oceany sound and the, you know, Eno and Zur Fallout sound, it did not work for me. Like, all my favorite audio from the Fallout 4 soundtrack is, the theme is good just because it's a theme. That opening piano bit from the black and white, you know, opening segment is really solid. And then the Institute stuff. The Institute music is good because it's like kind of spacey, sciencey, and I like that. But most of the Fallout 4 score I really don't care for. So, especially now I've been replaying Fallout 3 and I replayed Vegas several times. It's like those both have a much better, more fitting kind of soundscaping. And then where did I mention this? I mentioned that I rebuilt a new writing playlist, and of course that's got all the Mark Morgan Fallout 1 and 2 soundscape, and then also that Insomnia game that I also helped kickstart soundtrack. It had a really good Mark Morgan-y sound. So I've been listening to all of those, and then anytime a Fallout 4 soundtrack song comes up in the playlist, I'm like, next button. So again, that's totally just me. If you guys love that the most, that's totally fine. I'm just, strictly speaking for me, something about the way, like, maybe down the road, like nostalgia factor, I'll like it a lot more. But at least right now, I really didn't care for it. And then when they released the Fallout 76 theme, I really liked that a whole lot more than most of it in general. So we'll see. I still need to finish Fallout Equestria. Yeah, you should try to finish the original if nothing else. I know I'm slowly trying to chip away at Project Horizons again. I listened to, was it chapter 3 of the Shiggy Diggy, the Plague and Chicky audiobook version. So, you know, it's coming along. It's tricky. Again, I don't have the most time to listen to it, but you know, I'm trying to work it in there. Maybe, you know, maybe by the time Confessions finishes, I'll have finished listening to the whole story. It is so much, which is why I really have a hard time. Every once in a while, I see a comment like, oh my god, you know, Confessions, it's so long. I'm like, come on, bro. Everything else in the Fallout Equestria universe is fucking long. Like, especially when we updated the wiki page, like, you know, in pure word count, all of our productions together are barely scraped by like 250,000 words. And the original Fallout Equestria is 650. Project Horizons is like 1.7 million. It's like, and then you've got Heroes and Pink Eyes and all this other stuff. It's like, in terms of word count, it's really not that bad. So come on, you know, give us a break. And all of our stuff too is nicely self-contained within these little like story bites, you know. Even, you know, within the episodes themselves, it's just a 4-hour, 30,000 word script or 40,000 word script. And then even those, I really try hard to have very distinct dramatic sections. Like if you go through it chapter by chapter, you know, you have, you know, what is it? Section 1, the Battered Blade segment with her talking about the Red Reaper. And then Section 2, you have introduction to the half-breed, to our mercenary dragony guy. And then chapter 3 is what happened to his parents. And then chapter 4 is him becoming a mercenary in full throat. Chapter 5 is all about essentially about the Smoke Devils versus the Razor Wings, and how the Great Arrows factored into it all, and you know those various factions represented in Breakbeak and Ridgeback. And then chapter 6 is your introduction to the Mint and the proper order of like how the Great Arrows are exerting their influence, and then the road to Naranyavia. And chapter 7 is Naranyavia and the mystery aspect of it. And then chapter 8, bam, you have the ghosts show up, and you really hit heavy into the dense lore with the ghosts, and then with the you know, breakdown of Breakbeak and that whole conversation. And then you have your big conclusion in section 9. So we really try to break things up in nice, digestible 40-minute chunks, you know, so hopefully people enjoy that. And then at the very end, of course, we're going to release all the scripts with the final super package release. But especially because of the way I write, like, you know, screen direction and notes and stuff, there are a few things in there that might be spoilery. And I think it's part of the magic in that everyone hears it as audio first. And then at the very end, everything will be out there in the very raw, you know, voice actor type script format that I write everything. It's very prose, you know, it's prose within the framework of the interview, like World War Z or anything else like that. Boy, I want to see some art of the ghosts from episode 7. Yeah, I know, I would too. I haven't come up with an excuse to draw one of those. I finally broke down though, as I, you know, now that this is the second appearance of our Red Reaper, I'm like, I want art of that. So I had to talk to our beloved Sancho to, you know, commission him to do an art of the Red Reaper. Just so now that there's like 40 minutes of, you know, talking about him, there's gotta be some art for that. Sancho is our godsend artist, by the way. Like, you know, we operate on his timing now too in a lot of ways, because he's been doing such a great job and sort of taken the place of Lee as our main Confessions artist, and we are endlessly grateful to Sancho. I'll pay him whatever and whatever, you know, time frame it takes, because he's done such a great job for Confessions and EAST Corp in general. So, did the stream die? It shows that I'm still live. Hopefully you guys can hear me. Yeah, so I don't know. I didn't expect James to show up, so that took up a lot more conversation than I expected. So is there anything else you guys wanted to talk about? It's any questions, anything you liked about Fallout Day? I guess it's always hard, but I could ask, what was your favorite Fallout Day song in total in the entirety of the 5 that we've had so far? You don't have to be nice. I don't expect Life to be number 1 because it's honestly not even probably number 1 for me. I have a lot of personal nostalgia with Get Happy and Dashite Song. I'd probably say, oh god, it'd be really hard. It would be one of the 2 for me. Those are probably tied for my favorite Fallout Day song. But of course I didn't have, really much of any influence into Set Me Free. It's a very good song, but it's not going to be my favorite if I have the least amount of input into it. I like the story foreboding ways that both Life and the Gilded Age factor into their respective series, but yeah, I don't know. So, see what you guys enjoyed. I would try to, I'm not sure if I would try to get back what was her name? Lizzie Freeman. She was the singing voice of Velvet in the Set Me Free song. She sort of co-wrote that song with Valerie, who was another former Wasteland, god damn it, Balefire Symphony member. Valerie, she did a lot of great stuff. She was the one I went to do the Horror of Maricello, the big pipe organ piece. Did an incredible job with that. And then I did a bit of like post-production work and like sort of mixing and mastering. But she actually wrote that piece, and I still absolutely love that. And then there was Set Me Free, and then she did a couple of things in the bass soundtrack too. Let me take a look at that again. What she did. In the animated series soundtrack. Music and full release. What did Valerie contribute? Scrolling. Yeah, it's funny seeing some of the names. Yeah, it was a nice little compilation. Maybe her stuff didn't specifically get into the score soundtrack. I thought it did. Maybe she helped with something. Anyway, for a couple of those songs though, she's very great. Oh yeah, I thought she had done this Velvet's Disappearance, but no, that was Butterscotch. So it was something else. Anyway, we love all the musicians that have come and gone from the Balefire Symphony, and obviously, Kelly, he's the rock star definitely these days because he's done a very high volume of quality work, and I'm doing my best to curate him as well, to really like send more design influence ideas to him in terms of music, because he's very good at the big orchestral score stuff, but he's also very good at the synthy stuff, which is what's very much highlighted in the Life song we just had, and I really hammered him with. And so I sent him actually a link to the soundtrack of a game I never played but I heard about called Remember Me when it came across my like YouTube suggestions. And the game has this incredible score written by some French guy, and it's a very good blending of sort of a synthy electronic soundtrack and a big complex like orchestral score. And so I messaged Kelly once that whole soundtrack, and I'm like, hey, you're really great. Like this could be you. Keep going. Those are your definitely strong suits by far. Will there be any more little stories with the black magic? I think you mean just like, are you talking about like our the Twin Terrors where I know James had his story about the zebra bomber, and then with Shadows. I was very proud of Shadows. I like the way that worked out as just as a story framework from sort of a child's perspective. definitely, I mean, you know, Confessions is going to have some more magic involved. That's another reason why we reference the runes again, too, for Terminal Secrets. Magic is still the underlying energy behind everything, so we'll see what happens with that. See if some interesting stuff comes of that. Same with Wasteland Survival Guide, where we're definitely trying to maintain that Lovecraftian dark magic, you know, in the background of everything. That's one of the many reasons why the environmental hazards were all sort of grouped together rather than just have a balefire episode. Because we've touched on balefire and radiation in other chapters, which Ditsy references in the clean water chapter and the big band and stuff. But it's like, I wanted to really get across the, you know, alien, you know, the hexness of the pink cloud and the taint by talking about, you know, the horrible things they do, and then also throw in there some real life references like the cesium zeolite thing, which is some kind of like a radiation cure experiment that I read about a few years ago during. It was in the wake of the Fukushima thing, I think, or something else related to that, where I started hearing those stories. And then, and yeah, just how the pink cloud, essentially the idea of the pink cloud ship there in Winnie City, that was essentially like the Philadelphia experiment. That was my influence for that. And it's like, okay, it's something that, like, you know, it merges you with whatever material you're in contact with. You know, it's very scary and horrifying. What's something similar to that? Oh, Philadelphia experiment. So what if, you know, on the day the bombs are falling, of course, you know, everyone's trying to get the fudge out. As soon as they heard the reports about Cloudsdale or Manhattan, of course you're going to get the fuck out of the capital, because of course that's the #1 target. So what if one airship got caught in the wake of the pink cloud exploding? And so it's sailing its way to Winnie City, and the cloud is starting to just settle in through the ship, and you have the you know, sailors on board just running around and trying to figure out what the heck it is, maybe trying to clean it, and eventually they just get pressed through walls. And you know, something I didn't mention the pilot, but, you know, I imply that the pilot's getting stuck in the controls, like his hooves getting pressed into the, you know, into everything, and so it crashes into the building at Winnie City rather than being able to land properly. So, you know, just another nice excuse for the horror segment, the horror feel of everything. Also, I gotta be honest, once I then got the art done, I was very happy with the way the Uncelled Derpy art came out. I bring that on screen. There we go. I was very happy with the way just her look of total unsettledness of seeing the pony press through the walls. Just the side eye. You've got the little section of her cheek showing with the teeth that is pretty consistent with our Ditsy art, which is that she's got a bit of that Two-Face feel, where that's the half that, like, got more messed up of her mouth, and then her right ear is more messed up than the left, and she's got her little saddlebags with her delivery. So yeah, I was really happy with the way this came out. And yeah, so I'm actually not sure what audio for the next Wasteland Survival Guide is going to be done. I don't know if it'll end up being one of James's or one of mine, but I'm also really happy with my next couple of episodes. They're very good survival-y type episodes that are coming up. They're things that are really obvious that we just haven't touched on yet. So I feel like people should have a good time listening to those. Yeah, that's right. Pip, hashtag Pip leg. Yeah, that's what little Pip gets for wearing it on her right leg. She's got to be a southpaw. Got to be weird. Hopefully once I get a new computer, I'll be one of those musicians. Amoria's Loins is sounding great. Yeah, no, we're very excited to hear it for sure. Try to guess the real-life versions of Pink Cloud and Taint. I remember someone mentioning that the whole Pink Cloud concept is supposed to be, you know, Dead Money, which makes a lot of sense, because it's the same as the Dead Money Red Cloud getting all the suits sealed on the workers of the Sierra Madre village, the villa. So that's cool. I know the again, if you want to hear the full like lore of Dead Money, check out the Oxhorn videos. I'm like, it's almost like Craze rambling now, where it's like I feel like we're giving him a lot of free promotion, but it's great videos. Anyway, if you get a chance, listen to his whole Dead Money playlist, because I had forgotten a lot of the story about Sinclair and Vera Keys. Also, it was a lot more emotional than I last remember, because it's been a while since I played Dead Money. Taint, I wasn't sure of. Taint sounded, well, I know what it is in the game, and it's, it's the FEV, IMP mutagen and all that good stuff. So I get the influences, but at the same time, it's like, especially when I knew I wanted to do some kind of Dead Money-esque thing for the Mercenary with Naranja Villa, and we have, honestly, Harvest Orange is much more of a Mr. House character than a Sinclair character, by far, The relationship thing is much more conventional, it's just, Harvest Orange just has his wife, his beloved Valencia, who he trusts, and she was like, he met her in one of the absorbed businesses. I'm trying to remember. I haven't gotten explicit about the lore yet, but the idea is that, he put his whole life into the job, as he's building EAST Corp and sucking these other companies into it to create this whole vertical manufacturing kind of line where everything is under their purview, that they didn't want to be dependent on like a stable tech or on anything like that. So he buys up a bunch of smaller companies and he's like, build us an operating system for magical shit. I put all this in the Wikia, by the way. The Wikia is definitely going to have a lot of nice, like, background lore kind of thing. And one of those things, I don't think I put it in there yet, but was the idea that Valencia was essentially one of the CEOs or something important for a mining corporation that he ends up buying up. One of the companies that helped them in digging deep underground structures and also mining for raw materials. And there's the reference to the Sinopolis mine where, that's the idea, essentially, is that she was the head of one of those companies, and he, brings the company into the EAST Corp, super conglomerate. And then he also takes quite the fancy to the leader of said company and end up doing, the horizontal mambo. So that's always fun. Speaking of Pink Cloud, the original Fallout Equestria in Canterlot picked up some security armor and wore that for quite a while, so how does no one ever bring it up? I actually don't remember that. That actually does, that is a bit of a inconsistency if that's true. I forgot about that part. Mustard gas, my understanding of mustard gas is that was a big thing in World War I, was just trying to make sure that the every evolution of the various countries' gas masks was trying to get ahead of the various chemical agents that were getting rolled out in World War I. So it was is essentially an arms race to make a better gas mask than the deadly gases that were being deployed in that war. Oh, then we have a question in the chat for everyone's favorite pony from Fallout Equestria. Of course, I've said many times, for me, it's definitely Steel Hooves. And just the whole Steel Hooves Applejack arc is one of my, that's the core, emotional story for me. Because it's a great way of not only, like, tying the past to the present, but it really, like, it gives this total connection for the old world and the new world of the story. And then, of course, him reuniting with Applejack at the end, at his end, is definitely very interesting. We have NSFW questions being put out there. This is basically an NSFW podcast. I mean, we really don't censor ourselves on anything, really. It's, we'll talk about whatever. It's artastic, Peggy 18 or whatever. Steel Hooves is marine as shit. Yeah, he really is. Yeah, so no, I was really happy. The best part of Naranja Villa 2 was getting everyone to pronounce it as well as they could. I guess I ran into the James problem too, is I really, like, I had half of a demo for the Mercenary. That was sort of where I kind of stopped doing demos because people would tell me, "Oh yeah, I didn't listen to it." I'm like, "Well, fuck. I'm not going to spend, 10 hours recording and editing a demo then if no one's listening to it." But yeah, I knew that word would be a problem. So for Harvest Orange at least, I want to make sure he said it right once. And then for everyone else, it's kind of like anything else where it's like then their pronunciation is a little bit individualized, which I'm okay with. So that it gives a little bit more to the character. Like the way Oakheart always says Mare's Island, it's like that makes sense where it's like, okay, that's the way she actually says it wrong. so the idea of like, DJ Pony then like having talked to Amber Horn for a while and her showing him like an old poster or whatever of Mare Island, where he's like, then he can correctly say, "Oh yeah, going to Mare Island," and then her, despite the poster, still saying Mare's Island because Oakheart. It's so adorable, but at the same time, it's still frustrating. We had that same damn problem with Stable-Tech with the original Nuclear Winter Wonderland. Half of the characters said nuclear. They said nuclear like they were riding W right into the Fall Equestria story, and that's a pet peeve of mine, not only because fucking George Bush, but because it's nuclear. It's very clear how to pronounce it, but I get it. It's a problem because, of course, everyone, everyone shrinks the word as nuke, N-U-K-E, where there's no nuke in nuclear in American English. I think the K comes across in, I want to say German, right? There's some languages where it's the K is involved in nuclear as a word, but not in English, at least proper English. Oh yeah, we have some people. No, thank you for anyone who did stop by to listen. You're always welcome. And of course, we don't delete these. You could go back and re-listen later if you want. But it's all about that stream of consciousness, man. Speaking of stream of consciousness, I should probably go out and stream me some lunch into my consciousness, because that sounds good about now. We've been going on a bit longer than I expected even. So, it's 2:40, so I guess we'll go till like 3 hours. So if you have any questions, go ahead and ask, or whatever you want to talk about. Any conversational prompts as well, because then after 3-hour mark, I'm gonna get me some lunch. Skybolt, are you more familiar with military MOS and CBRN? No, I understand the CBRN acronym. That's chemical, biological, radiological, and nuclear, as sort of hazardous chemical agents that certain uniforms have to protect against. MOS, I forget. I think it's MOSS, and that's essentially like the standard army like chemical agent protection, like hazmat suit essentially. I'm trying to remember what it stands for now. It's military something and special. Let me see how it is, because I know it's like different MOS levels. What does it stand for? Tactical gear. Military. What does MOS mean? Oh, MO single S is military occupation specialty. No, I was thinking of MOSS, right? I'm trying to remember. Here we go. Military acronym finder. Fuck, I can't find it now. This is driving me crazy. Okay. U.S. military hazmat suits. Oh, MOP. That's what I was thinking of. MOPP, not MOSS. MOPP is the mission-oriented protective posture, pronounced MOP, like a mop, is the protective gear used by the military in a toxic environment, e.g., chemical, biological, radiological, or nuclear. CBRN. And so part of your MOP gear which I think that it's a shitty name and a shitty acronym when Seaburn is so well known. They should just have Seaburn Suit or Seaburn Level 1, Seaburn Level 2. It makes so much more sense. Everyone understands what you're trying to protect against, whereas Mop sounds stupid, sounds like a mop, and it's like why the change? I don't understand. It's so stupid. So of course, yeah, the main thing is protective mask. It's your gas mask or something else. Your overgarments, your it's like making up acronyms just for the hell of it when you already have a perfectly good acronym. God damn it. It's this kind of shit that pisses me off. That's why I had that whole section in The Engineer where it's like, oh yeah, the MARS gun, the Mars gun. Okay, yeah. So if you make an acronym, make it a nice word that explains what you're talking about, and then give it a nickname. So then they nicknamed it the Ares and Phobos and Deimos, you know, because we're gonna stick with the Greco-Roman, you know, mythology because My Little Pony does that. I mean, they have Cerberus and Tartarus and all that shit, so it all makes sense. It's all part of the plan. But yeah, no, Seaburn makes way more sense. NBC sounds stupid too, because then it sounds like you're walking around in a suit with a big fucking peacock and you know, a microphone or news camera. So Seaburn is the ideal. Seaburn and hazmat, because everyone understands what hazmat means also. That should be. Hazmat is the suit you wear for Seaburn style protection and operations. Oh, I won't download the file? Oh, fuck you. Download the My Little Pony special. Okay. Let me mute that. And there we go. Come on. Download, you fuck. Okay. Real life, Pink Cloud is still banned classified name, and it literally does everything that Pink Cloud does except make ghouls. Wait, really? What? There's a real life Pink Cloud? I know one thing for sure is that Agent Orange, which of course is very infamous from the Vietnam War, was only one of a rainbow array of defoliants that were planned out for use in the Vietnam War. Rainbow Agents Vietnam. Because if I remember right, Agent Orange became, here we go, Rainbow Herbicides. Agent Orange became the most infamous because it had the worst effect on people in terms of long-term, like, hazard. But if I remember right, it was Agent Blue that was the most deadly. Or was it Agent... use, long-term effects, dioxins, persistent organic pollutants, endocrine disruptors... Yeah, so I think I mentioned like the Vietnam undertones of the Ice Mare, right? Like Ranch Horn is a play on Ranch Hand, Operation Ranch Hand, which is what like officially was used to deploy Agent Orange and all that shit during the war. Yeah, and you know, and its relation to the whole gas concept of the story. That's very very heavily Vietnam inspired. Found you and followed you on Google Plus. I don't know if that's a joke. It's like, is that a joke because of what Google Plus is like these days? I don't know. Yeah. I think that is what took down YouTube 2 weeks ago, is they were turning off some essential part of Google Plus, and like YouTube as a whole got completely fucked because of that. And so it's part of their it's part of the the unrolling of everything. Yeah, chemical warfare is one of the many things that made World War I so uniquely horrible in the grand history of the world, just because of the capacity for death jumped by several magnitudes because of mechanization, early tanks in World War I especially, and the use of chemical weapons and early machine guns. Of course, you had like the... what was it? The Browning automatic, and you had like the British, was it Bren gun? Some different things like that. So, yeah, that's where you can roll in the Metal Gear quotes like "War has changed." It's like, that makes sense in like the scale of, weaponry idea, but I still prefer the Fallout quote of war never changes, because that has the much deeper philosophical, the human nature meaning of, violence being a factor of nature. Yeah, YouTube tried to separate them. Yeah, it's like removing a cancer. Google Plus. What a joke. Yeah, John Moses Browning is weapons god. Yeah, he definitely is. He is one of the, most famous weapon designers of all time. Part of what definitely a true American. Damn it, what else was I just going to say? I was going to transition to something from the Ice Mare and the chemical weapon warfare talk, and now I forget. What was I going to say? I was going to transition that into something else. I can't remember it now. Okay. Yeah, so anyway, it's been fun. It's been a good year. I'm looking back over the year as a whole, and we definitely had a lot of great things with the. We had a Wake rollout. I was really happy that everyone really loved that. I actually wasn't expecting the level of positive response. I was so worried that everyone was going to figure out the twist a whole lot earlier of, you can't wake them up. They're just going to be, brains in a jar or something. I thought everyone would figure that out, honestly. And so I was very pleasantly surprised that I was able to keep this charade going as long as I could until that big surprise ending. And then there was, damn it, what did we do this year? Of course, we'll probably talk about this more in like the end of December or holiday, whatever cast we can pull everyone together for. But, let's pull up the old, playlist. Oh yeah, and we kicked off the year with my New Year's Eve solo cast, which is essentially this is the precursor to this. And then then Untypical came out for people that do it like that. That was a February, I think, something like that. We had our Breakroom holiday or Valentine's Day podcast too, where Dusty Cat dropped by for a while. That was kind of fun. I still think our original Valentine's Day podcast was a lot sexier, though. That was a good podcast. The One Last Dance song, that was fun. We really got out some more solid Wasteland survival guides with Birds and the Bees and cannibalism. The soundtrack album re-release because the animated series was dead. So it's like, okay, we're going to put that out there because we're going to hopefully make use of as much of the music as we can. James Kelly put out some solid instrumental pieces with Red Eye and the Why You Do It Again. We had Everybody Knows, Dude We Lamaucast, Awake, and then a bit of a break, and then the What the Fix. God damn, that's another thing I hate about this, like, the podcast inconsistency, because I want more What the Fix. That was like my favorite part of the whole summer, was just me and Needle reading all of those hilarious and random fan fictions. I really loved that. We had our early experiments into Rabbit too, where we watched the Bethesda live stream with Cinder when we were very much teasing the Mercenary. And then we watched the No Clip Bethesda and Fallout 76 documentaries. And then we had our Mercenary release and all that good stuff. And by year's end, we'll have the finale of Terminal Secrets and all this other fun stuff we just had for Fallout Day. So yeah, it was a good year. I think overall 2017 probably was a little bit better because that was the zeitgeist. We had tons of Wasteland Survival Guide. That was the launch. And then because of the way things fell in January, we had Confessions 5 and Terminal Secrets 3. And then within the end of the year, then we had Tinned Mint and Confessions 6. So it kind of it's kind of good timing. We had a lot more major releases in that sense, but it's still been a good year. We've still gotten a lot of good stuff out there and more stuff on the way, so we keep on going, keep on doing the best we possibly can. Oh yeah, people are still talking about the great weapon manufacturers. Yeah, of course. We love our gunsmiths. Yeah. It's funny too. Even before this BananaCast founding, I did have quite a few kind of solo things early in the year, and then there was the Skyboard casts and things like that. So it's not really a novel concept. It's really more of the branding than anything else. And then Fucked Con and all that good stuff. So yeah, it's been fun. We've definitely done our best to keep the train rolling and have a lot of quality productions keep coming out. So it'll be good. It'll be good. Last couple minutes. Any final questions? We're gonna roll out here. You should try to do more BananaCast. They are super fun. Oh, I'm glad. I really do hope people enjoy it. It's fun for me too, which is really the key to everything we do. Which is we really hope it's fun for people, and also keep an eye on my normal channel too. I know my overall output on there has been less in recent years because of the EAST Corp stuff and all the Fallout Equestria stuff in general, but if you look on my channel, I recently put out a video that may or may not be a tease for something big coming out, that something big I may have been working on for the last 6 months and taken up a lot of my time, but we were finally close to getting that finished. So it's just a little tease. Check out my normal channel if you guys want. Also, we only have like 2 days until our official anniversary, which is the 29th. So if you can get us another 13 subs so we can have 2,222 subscribers on our second anniversary, that would be super cool. That would be really great to have. And I don't want to have to create a whole bunch of sock puppet Google accounts to reach that number, but I'm very tempted to do so if we can't reach that point. So spread the love. We just released all our Fallout Day stuff out there. If you run into anyone in a Fallout IRC forum or anything, drop that last day video as a little advertisement for Confessions. See if they like that. Drop the Wasteland Survival Guide or our Bethesda Balefire Symphony music. And yeah, hopefully people enjoy that. Oh, wow, an old fan following my solo channel since mid-2013. Yeah, that's OG. That's basically from my first Fallout, Facing the Fallout video. Yeah, should have a lot more songs in general coming out soon. So that'll be good. Shit, I still have to finish the Halloween song, too. I do have a Halloween song that got kind of pushed to the back burner because Fallout Day really took center stage after we started doing that a few years back. 5 years now. This is our 5th annual Fallout Day. Been doing these for essentially 4 years now. Holy cow. That's nuts. That's the kind of longevity that we're glad we've been able to stay consistent on. Yeah, and my November is going to be a bit busy, but even though I'll have a lot of like work trips, so hopefully that gives me a chance to do a lot of writing too, so I can finish the last of my Wasteland Survival Guide chapters and also get a good large chunk of Confessions 8 done as well. That's the plan. I've got the outline. It's just getting, quality writing time to get that extrapolated into dialogue. It's the hardest thing ever because you have to be in the right mode of energy and creativity and time and have all three to some certain degree to make productive use out of. Oh man, so it's been a good time. And yeah, like I said, I keep fighting behind the scenes. I want to get one really solid Founders Holiday cast again because I loved so much that big All Four of Us podcast we had last year after the Winter Solstice video dropped, and then also we had another All Four of Us podcast too, I think in January, which was really fun. So whenever we can get all of us together, that's a magical thing. I think back on the old Rooster Teeth podcast when they had all 5 of the originals on. You know, you had Bernie and Matt and Joel and Gus and Jeff, before Jeff completely abandoned the normal podcast. So that was sad. I still tune in every once in a while for the Rooster Teeth, the Joel podcast. I always love me some Joel podcast. He's a great crazy element. He's probably the Kelly of their show. So almost at the 3 hour mark. Last minute. It's the final countdown. And I can have some late lunch, and we can all ride off into the sunset. November. I can't believe it's already November. This has been a crazy year. In my personal life, I've had a lot of weird ups and downs too, and all the fun stuff with Confessions production as well. But it was a really good year, and I think 2019 is going to be even better, honestly. So it's a lot of fun stuff to look forward to. But anyway, I'm glad. Thank you all for joining us. I'm glad that we were able to force Vermont to show up too. So we sort of had a half BananaCast and half Breakroom podcast. So that was a nice little change. And we of course we're always thankful for all of our fans and all the fun we've been able to have together, writing and producing and doing all this fun stuff. So anyway, thank you guys. We will be back, very soon. I'm going to be busy in November. I've got a couple of work trips, but hopefully we will have more podcasts. And hopefully Needle will send me some more Wasteland survival guides, and we'll have another, 2 or 3 of those before the end of the year. So we'll see what happens, because we still have a lot of them to come out with. I think there's still 24 before the end, and we still have a lot of these written. It's got to be a good survival guide. It got to cover all of our bases. So the train keeps rolling, and 2019 is going to be another solid year for EAST Corp. So, love you guys, and we will talk to you more later.